Well, the noise is deafening inside the Stadium of Light midway through a light show, as we heard there from Regis Lebris, and the noise levels go up again as we await the arrival of the teams. Loads of games, short turnaround, Mickey. Sunderland are having a superb season, particularly here. But what they've done really well is deal with the challenge of 6 players going off to AFCON. Dan Ballard injured as well, such a key figure in this side. Just how good have Sunderland been this season?
Well, I think the important thing was to try and get as many points on the table as they possibly could before actually the players went off to AFCON, and obviously worrying about injuries as well. That being Dan Ballard, one of the best players of the season so far. And they have kind of coped with it. Yes, they've drawn a few games, but they're still getting points and they're putting them on the board, keeping pressure on those teams below them. And the target's always 40 points, John, as it always is, and it is this season. First season back in the Premier League after 9 missing. So everybody's kind of enthralled in it, and they're just looking forward to every single game. And this is why the atmosphere in this stadium is so electric every week.
And a win tonight puts Sunderland 5th. It would mean a win against Manchester City. If that happened, do expectations need to just be dampened a little bit, or do you just ride the wave?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm sat here with my Sunderland head on, and I'm not getting carried away with actually winning the game tonight. I think any Sunderland supporter would take anything from it tonight, the way City have been performing. But you're right, you know, you can't keep talking about Europe every single week. You know, that comes at the last stages of the career, and you find out and you find out where you are exactly. But it's game by game. You know, as Regis said there before, you know, tick one off, the next one comes along. But the players won't be doing any training at the moment. It's all about football matches.
And then the owner, Carol Louis Dreyfus, has been quite outspoken. He's aiming for a top 10 finish. His ambition is there. Certainly a lot of arrivals in the summer, and the recruitment has been superb here at Sunderland. Don't think they've got many wrong. They've picked players from all over the world. Is a top 10 finish realistic? And that is to happen. Does Regis Lebris need to be backed again in January to ride the wave, to keep this momentum going?
Well, I think I was actually here, and part of the side that finished 7th and 7th in the first 2 seasons we were in the Premier League in 99, 2000 and 2001. So it's achievable, of course it is. And I look at this group of players and how he's bedded everybody in, the 14 new signings. It's nothing short of remarkable, it really isn't. And when you're on that crest of a wave, you keep going with it every single week, the momentum, the confidence, and you can see it instilled in every single player.
There will be a slight pause here inside the Stadium of Light, as Sunderland always do for their first game of a new calendar year. They remember fans, ex-players, ex-members of staff that have passed away during the year that has just gone, 2025. So there will be a tifo display by the supporters, lifting up cards in the Roker end away to our right-hand side. And then a round of applause from all of the Sunderland fans. The coaching staff down below us at both sides. Man City will pay their respects as well. They line up on the touchline as a full house, over 40,000 inside the Stadium of Light, who are making a tremendous din. And then the names of those people, supporters, members of staff, former players, are displayed on the big screens at either ends of the stadium. A lot of clubs do this, Mickey, and I think it's a really nice touch that he's done, and it gives supporters and family members a chance to remember members of their own family. And football clubs are a family, and it's good to recognise the people that we've lost.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It just means they're still a part of this football club. You know, it's probably their life being a Sunderland supporter, and it's nice to be out there being shown, and there's respect there as well, and you can hear from the round of applause as well. Special moment.
Both sets of players have placed themselves around the centre circle as the minute's applause begins to come to an end before kick-off in this Premier League game, live on Talksport 2 between Sunderland and Manchester City. Don't forget, right now over on Talksport you can hear live coverage of Brentford against Tottenham. Best place to switch between this game and that one is on the Talksport app. If you've not already downloaded it, now is your chance to do so, particularly when you think in the second half of the season Talksport will bring you 300 plus more commentaries. If you thought the first half of the season was exciting, it's going to get even better. Manchester City players move away from a huddle and clap their supporters high up to our left-hand side. We can't see them with the stand, the roof of the main stand here, the Jim Montgomery stand falling down in front of us. We can see the pitch perfectly, can't quite see it if the ball goes high into the air, but we're not expecting that to happen on too many occasions this evening. Manchester City will get us underway in their sky blue shirts Sunderland in their traditional red and white striped shirts. Sunderland will line up with Roos in goal, Hugh, Makalele, Alderete and Kirkin as a back four. Xhaka alongside Hatuda in midfield. The Dingra, who scored here against Leeds on Sunday. Lafi and Mayenda is a three behind Bobbery. Up front for City, Donnarumma in goal, Nunes, Diaz, Ake and O'Reilly is a back four with Bernardo Silva alongside Gonzalez in midfield, Savinho, Foden and Cherki in behind Haaland. 25 goals this season for the Norwegian. He's on the chase early doors, but the ball is able to be cleared. However, it's straight to Cherki, who looks as though he's going to play on this right side. Foden for the minute, Mickey, in that number 10 position.
Yeah, he's done it the last couple of games. Ryan Cherki over on this right side. He's got wonderful ability, we know that, and he's certainly a player that these Sunderland defenders need to keep an eye on, because he's making City tick at the moment, along with Erling Haaland and Phil Foden. And we've got so much talent. How do you try and pinpoint one individual player when you're defending against this Man City outfit? They've just got so much quality. But big night for Sunderland tonight. Brian Bobby playing up front on his own for Sunderland tonight. It's a big occasion for him. He has to hold the ball up and do his duties as a centre forward tonight.
Here comes Bernardo Silva over the halfway line, inside right position, slips the ball into Mateus Nunes, who has space, and he's got the time to look up for the cross. Headed away by Alderete on the edge of the 6-yard area on the near side, and they're looking to release a Dingra, who is just, well, he looked as though he kept it in, then did he run it out? No, referee looks at the assistant, play on continues, but a Dingra's ball was pouring straight to Nathan Ake, his first start since October. Another Manchester City player like Rodri, who we talked about pre-match, who has struggled with injuries this season, hasn't appeared too much. Real baptism of fire with Pep throwing him straight back into the 11 this evening, as Cherki sticks out a boot on the halfway line to poke the ball back to City defender and captain Ruben Diaz. Phil Foden drops deep midway inside his own half. He's checked the run by Granit Xhaka. Xhaka, who has covered the most distance in the Premier League this season, 200 kilometres. Mickey does that every other Sunday. Here's Cherki. Didn't deny it, folks.
Categorically denied.
Here is Alderete again. Noticed he was following Cherki earlier in the game when the ball was sent back towards Donnarumma. Alderete may have a job on his hands trying to hold on to the man with the most assists in the Premier League this season. Most assists across Europe since the start of November. Cherki, who wears 10 on this right side.
Yeah, Man City look like they've got an early problem, and it's the player who's just came into the starting 11, Nathan Ake. He's holding on to his knee or his thigh. And as you mentioned, John, you know, he's not started since October, and if you go out there and you haven't done everything right within your warm-up, that cold weather can bite. And it looks like it's going to bite Nathan Ake very early on, and see Josko Gvardiol's getting warmed up and getting stripped already to come and make an early change for Man City.
He's been a substitute in the last 10 games, Nathan Ake, but he's only come on twice. He came on against Forest, but it was the last minute of the game. It did feel when I saw his name just a bit of a risk from Pep Guardiola, and as we speak, Josko Gvardiol, who was the player Ake replaced in the starting 11, has immediately got stripped off. And with the games that Manchester City have got coming up, what they don't need is more injuries, but that looks as though it's going to be the case.
Yeah, and he just stretches. I've just seen a replay of it now as the ball's getting played into Brian Brobby, I think the Sunderland centre forward. He just stretches to try and clear the lines, and I think he must have just tweaked something there. And as the physio came onto the pitch, you could see Nathan Ake was just shaking his head to say, no, I can't continue on with this. It's a shame, isn't it, because you wait so long to get back into that starting 11 at a club like Man City, and something like this happens. And you see it over the Christmas period, the January period. Cold muscles, you're not warm enough, and you have to do, an overstretch, I suppose, like Nathan Ake's done. And it always seems to be a problem. But I'm just seeing him now, John. He's gone to the side of the pitch. Not quite sure they're actually going to make this change or not. No, it looks like Gvardiol's going to sit back down, and he's going to actually give it another try. I really hope he's okay, Nathan Ake.
The signal is very clear from Nathan Ake, with the two members of the Manchester City medical team on the far touchline. Hand up, stop. And as you say, Gvardiol, on a very cold night in the northeast, he's now fully kitted, ready to come on. He's going to sit and shiver a little bit on the seat on the dugout before he gets the nod to wrap himself back up again. Ball has gone back to Donnarumma. City kicking from left to right in this first half as we look high up in the Jim Montgomery stand, the main stand here at the Stadium of Light. Down the left-hand side, it's Savinho who can run towards that Sunderland penalty area. Goes on the outside, drills a ball low and hard. It was away by Mukiele. It has gone for a corner. First of the evening goes to Manchester City. Nearly 5 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, that's a bit of a concern, how easy it is for City to get down the flanks against this back four of Sunderland. I think here Truda was the guy who found himself in the right back position alongside Savinho, but it was too easy for him just to get that ball out of his feet and get his cross in towards that 6-yard area. Certainly, if you're wide players, if you're Sunderland, you need them to help out and double up and make it difficult for these wide players of City.
Cherki, chief creator for Manchester City, will take this corner live on Talksport 2. 0-0 after 5.5 minutes at the Stadium of Light. Floated to the near post. Haaland is a tap in for Bernardo Silva, and it took Manchester City just 5 minutes to take the lead, but celebrations will be paused as the referee's assistant raises the flag. Haaland's flick on at the near post from that Cherki corner. A few yards out, Bernardo Silva tapped home. It's a shake of the head, a wag of the finger. There will be a check, but there aren't too many complaints just yet from Manchester City.
Well, it's closer than you think, I have to tell you, John. Look, he gets back onto an onside position, Bernardo Silva, from the flick on from Erling Haaland. But I think as it's played into him, I'm not quite sure if it's circling at the back post. His right leg's sticking out and is very close to keeping Bernardo Silva onside. I do think it is the right call, but it's very, very close. And if it is, it's a huge let-off for Sunderland early on in this game.
Bernardo Silva without a Premier League goal this season. He scored 4 last season, but they were all at the Etihad Stadium. There is the pause that we are used to. Notice a few of the players, in particular Nathan Ake, just doing a few more stretches to make sure they keep themselves as warm as possible. As we keep an eye on the VAR and the referee who's getting word in his ear. He's just telling Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Roofs to hold his position. He's ready to take the free kick. Bernardo Silva stood next to a referee who tonight is Jared Gillett, waiting for the VAR referee, who is Peter Banks, to give him the shout. And it will be a free kick for offside, and it remains on Talksport 2. Manchester City 0, Sunderland 0.
Still bizarre, John, isn't it, how long it takes? I mean, we've seen replays in front of us, and I'm sure that VAR get it a lot quicker than we do. But you could see from the body language of all the City players that actually gone back towards the centre circle as if they knew that Bernardo Silva was in offside position. And I think that's what frustrates everybody.
Sunderland looking to break on the right side with Adingra. He's into the box right side, edge of the area, cut out by Nico Gonzalez. The ball will come through to Phil Foden, facing his own goal on the edge of the area, laid back to Nathan Ake. Nico O'Reilly dispossessed on that far touchline. Sunderland looking to build momentum. You can hear the noise when they have the ball near the Manchester City penalty area. They've been forced back to the halfway line, and then the ball forward from Mukiele was straight to Savinho. It's a long loop ball up to Erling Haaland, back to goal. Couldn't hold it in his grasp, couldn't keep his team in possession, and Sunderland have it back. Adingra laying the ball up high towards Brian Bobbery. But again, neither side can keep possession for long enough, although Cherki might for Sunderland. Laying it on to Adingra, the pass wasn't heavy enough, and it was easily intercepted on this near side by Mateus Nunes. Up to Haaland, laid off to Foden. Was he tripped? No, says the referee. It was Trey Hume, the nearest player to him. And again, Sunderland, as quick as they get it, they give it straight to City, and it's Mateus Nunes who has possession. 0-0.
Well, they're giving the ball away too much, Sunderland. They're not going to have enough of it tonight anyway. So when you do have it, just take that little bit of care. Dennis Serkin, Granit Xhaka on occasion. Yes, he tried to play a through ball, which you understand at times. But when you get the chance to break forward, be crisp with your passing, because they're going to sit back. They're going to have to soak up so much pressure tonight from this quality that City have got. When those chances come around to break on this back line of Manchester City, you have to make it count.
Sunderland haven't been free scoring. Two teams scoring less than their 20 so far this season. Wolves and Nottingham Forest, however, only Arsenal and Manchester City have conceded less than Sunderland. Robin Roofs has been a great signing. He's on guard here as Savinho is dancing on the far side up against Hitruda. He gets his cross in from a tight angle. Bernardo Silva heads it back towards the penalty spot. Well, that was very cool from Granit Xhaka on the penalty spot. Heads it back to Robin Roofs, 0-0.
Yeah, Sunderland looked really shaky and nervy, I have to say. No, they have not settled into the game at all, which is complete contrast to the way they've played at the Stadium Light throughout the whole of this season so far. but somebody's just got to take the game by the scruff of the neck. A Granit Xhaka, the experienced head, just to calm everybody down and say, look, yes, Man City are an amazing team, but you're in the same division as them. You can give them a game tonight, but you have to try and shore up your passing. It's been poor.
Over on Talksport right now, Brentford 0, Spurs 0 here at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Manchester City in possession, midway inside the Sunderland half. Everyone in red and white, back behind the ball, almost guarding their 18-yard area. City will be patient. They play the ball between Nico Gonzalez and Nathan Ake. Gonzalez joined February of last year, as it is now, from Porto. The one Premier League goal so far this season. Here's Ake again. Into Nico O'Reilly, the left-back who loves to get forward. He's a midfielder by trade when he came through the City Academy, but has made that left-back position his own. And he started the last 9 in the Premier League. 14 of 16 he started. A real key figure in Pep Guardiola's side. Here is Cherki coming to collect the ball inside right position. Still midway inside the Sunderland half. Back to the halfway line to Nathan Ake. In front of him to the left is Nico O'Reilly. Now Savinho, white-booted, will run towards Hume on that far side. Once again, looks to go on the outside before a quick turn of pace, then back on his right foot, then his left. He thought he was fouled by Hume. Referee shakes his head. Sunderland win it back with Hume. And now it's Adingra trying to make his way up the right side, but he's been dispossessed. And here come Manchester City again. Cherki's in space, and that's always a dangerous thing to do. Left-footed, ball out to the left touchline to Savinho. Cherki shuffled across to that side. A free roll for the key man for Manchester City. Former Lyon player, came through their academy. Now it's Bernardo Silva, right side, was looking for the 1-2 with Mateus Nunes. The route was blocked well by Adingra, going back there doing his defensive duties, and it's just a line of red and white shirts that Manchester City have in front of them. Ruben Dias, 25 yards from that Sunderland goal. Nico Gonzalez in the centre, back out to the right to Mateus Nunes, looking to link up with Portuguese colleague Bernardo Silva. Well, it's very patient, Mickey. 12 gone, 0-0.
Well, a back four has very quickly, John, turned into a back five. You see Trey Humes now drifted over to that right side because of the pressure from Man City, and it is going to be pressure.
Hooked in from the far side, Savinho will come to Haaland. Control with his chest, but it looped up in the air. Couldn't get the second touch, and Adingra could come away here for Sunderland. Halfway line, looks to go through the legs of Mateus Nunes. Out for a throw-in. You're listening to Sunderland versus Manchester City on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly. Like Sunderland versus Manchester City live right now. Search Now Sports.
Yeah, the problem Sunderland have got, and it's not just defensively, John, as well. I just said they've gone back to a back five. We talked about the importance of Brian Brobby playing up front for Sunderland tonight, but I think also the two wide players, because at the moment, when they're winning the ball, they're winning it on the edge of their own 18-yard area, and there's no outlet. The players have got to work so hard tonight. You see the City players, we talk about how good they are on the ball and what they create and how many goals they score. They work their socks off when they don't have the ball to win it back quickly. The Sunderland players have got to take a leaf out of their book and do exactly the same.
Sunderland have a free kick. Goalkeeper Robin Roofs will take. The 22-year-old came in from NEC Nijmegen in the summer. Now part of the Dutch squad, although he's yet to make his debut. He'll have eyes on the World Cup in the summer. That free kick cleared all the way back into the Sunderland half, and Trey Hume will square the ball to Robin Roofs, who looks up, all in black. The Sunderland goalkeeper goes long, left-footed down this near side. Sunderland's left. Mateus Nunes with a header. Was it kept in play by Cherki? Wasn't, and it is 0-0 with 13.5 minutes gone.
Don't mind that long ball from Robin Roofs. You know, if you're trying to play football through the centre of the midfield, then Man City pick you off and they start to pounce on you and just break with the quality they've got. Sometimes that long ball can be a very good ball from Robin Roofs to those forward players. But that's what I say, everybody tonight has to be switched on.
Still 0-0 over on Talksport. Brentford versus Spurs. Premier League coverage continues on Saturday. 12:30 kickoff. Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest is live on Talksport before Game Day Live, where Adrian Durham will take you around the grounds in the Premier League and the National League on Saturday. Sunday, EFL action, Birmingham versus Coventry before Leeds and Manchester United. Birmingham Coventry on Talksport 2. Leeds versus Manchester United on Talksport before Game Day Live with Adrian again Sunday at 2:30. Here at the Stadium of Light, 14.5 minutes gone in the Premier League. Sunderland unbeaten at home this season. 0 Manchester City who have won their last 8 in all competitions, 0. All levels so far. Sunderland coming forward, ball into Broderick on the edge of the area. Couldn't keep control. Ake, who does seem to have shaken off that early injury, is able to get his foot around the Sunderland striker, another Dutchman in the Mackham ranks. Sunderland keeping possession with Xhaka, their chief creator this season. 5 assists, only 2 of the players have assisted more. It's a lovely 1-2 on the far side, and Hume is into the area, away from O'Reilly. The ball comes in, it's a back-heeled clearance from Ruben Diaz facing his own goal, 6 yards out. That's better from Sunderland.
Brilliant. They're now part of the game, you can feel it, they're getting the crowd involved in it. Lovely little give and go from Trey Hume. You could see he was stretching at the end just to get his cross into the area. Last-ditch clearance from City defenders, but that is much better.
It's the third time these two have played on New Year's Day in the Premier League. Here in 2012, Sunderland won 1-0, and at the Etihad in the 1st of January 2015, City winning by 3-2. City have won 18 of the last 19 games at the start of a calendar year. The only one they didn't was that 1-0 defeat here against Sunderland. One of those weird footballing quirks that might continue this afternoon, or this evening rather.
Was I playing?
Oh, go on, Mickey. My research went so far.
I'd
be claiming it if I was you.
I'd retired about 2 years.
Claim it. City on the attack. Cherki on the byline. He's left free. Oh, and Roof's left it. And then 2 Sunderland players, the 2 centre halves, in Mukelele and Alderete, collided. One of them managed to flick it over the bar, but number 1, Cherki, allowed far too much room. And Robin Roof, so reliable, the Sunderland goalkeeper, for the first time this season, looks slightly nervous.
Well, I'd say communication. One centre-half to another just to say, I'm clear and this is mine, and just get the ball as far away from the Sunderland goal as you possibly can. And you're right, Roofs could have probably gone off his line and maybe done something better with it, but that's the worry, isn't it? That diagonal ball, the first time pass into the area, and City scrambling just to try and get themselves in front.
0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Manchester City, second corner of the contest from the first they did score, was ruled out for offside. This one is cleared by Alderete on the 6-yard line. It comes out to Phil Foden, who was so reliable in recent weeks, but left-footed. He's caught that with the outside of his boot, right of the D, and he's gone well wide.
Yeah, not one of Phil Foden's best volleys, I have to say, but who am I sat here to tell him that he's got his technique wrong, John, when he's in such a vein of form at the moment, and he's an outstanding player, Foden, and he'll grow into this game. He will get chances, there's no question of it.
7 goal involvements in his last 6 Premier League games. 6 goals in that time. He scored 3 in his last 3, including a couple at Fulham in that brilliant game before Christmas. Played in the last 2 England games as well after being out of favour. And as we turn into 2026, all eyes very much on the World Cup in the summer, and the debate about who will play and who will go. On the plane to the USA, Phil Foden very much in that conversation. You will hear all 104 World Cup games live on Talksport during the summer.
Eliza Mayenda started very, very bright for Sunderland, I have to say, on that right-hand side. This lovely little give and go with Trey Hume a couple of moments ago, but you can see whenever he picks the ball up, he wants to entice City defenders out of that back line, and he's got the ability to do it, just needs to do it in the right areas.
18 minutes gone, Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Ball is laid back to Robin Roofs from Mukelele. Another one of the Sunderland summer signings. They've all settled in so quickly and so well, and I mentioned it earlier, if Sunderland win tonight, they could go 5th. Such has been the bright start they've had to the campaign. Just mentioning the player that's come in tonight, Mayenda. Started the first 3 Premier League games. He's been a sub ever since. A real big opportunity for him tonight. It's a real struggle of sense here from Broderick, who's into the area, right-footed, saved by Donnarumma at the near post. He's come back to the striker, couldn't adjust his feet quick enough. Well, on the angle, right-hand side, 6 yards out. Showed real strength. The Sunderland striker, Brian Broderick, his shot on target. Donnarumma injured from making the save. It remains 0-0.
Well, before I get to the chance for Brian Brobby, I tell you what, he has done Ruben Diaz a massive favour by staying on his feet, because he gets goal side of Ruben Diaz. There's contact there. He's just stronger than him. If he'd have gone to ground there, it was a huge decision for the referee, but full credit to Brobby. Very strong, gets his shot away, and that's what I want to see from Sunderland centre forward. Really good striker play.
Started 4 of the last 5, the Dutch striker Brian Brobby, after 8 substitute appearances in a row. Both of his goals in the Premier League this season have come from the bench. Sunderland have their first corner of the evening will be taken over on the right side by captain Granit Xhaka. That's curled in really dangerously, but almost too much as it comes through the 6-yard area and back out for a goal kick. 20 minutes gone, 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Well, two ways that Sunderland are going to beat Man City tonight is either from a set piece, which was poor there from Granit Xhaka, or counter-attacking football and running in behind them with the pace that they've got in those forward positions. And we've just seen both. But Brian Brobby, that's what you want to see. Yes, you've got respect for the players that you're playing against, but shove them out the way like he did. Used his strength, which was brilliant. Love to see that.
We have a full midweek Premier League schedule next week. Tuesday night on Talksport, West Ham versus Nottingham Forest. Wednesday we'll have you covered across Talksport, Talksport 2, Talk Radio and the Talksport app for all of the games. And Thursday it is Arsenal versus Liverpool, live exclusive commentary on Talksport from Emirates Stadium. The ball is with Gianluigi Donnarumma, still 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light.
Well, John, I was just going to say, the cynic in me would have loved to have seen whether Diaz did bring Brobby down in that situation, of what decision the referee, Jared Gillett, would have had to make. Because if there's contact and a player is in the ascendancy and he's getting on the end of it, which Brian Brobby was then, that was huge call, it really was. And let's not forget, Diaz was very, very lucky against Nottingham Forest not to get a second yellow.
Was indeed. 21 minutes gone here, 0-0. Chase is on. Down the left side, Mayenda's got there first and he's kept it. He slipped it into Adingra, almost in the identical position he scored from against Leeds on Sunday. It's come back to Xhaka, edge of the area. In fact, it's Trey Hume appearing, right-footed, caught it sweetly, left of the D. It's gone wide. But Sunderland, with both of their wide players on the same side of the pitch, and that man over nearly saw them take the lead.
Well, I said about that long ball, it's not a bad ball, and it's working for Sunderland because you can see Mayenda's got the pace, Brobby's got the pace, and they can get in behind Manchester City. Just showed his strength, done really well. It looked like Adingra. Could he have got his shot away? Tried to look for that extra pass, but it's a lot better from Sunderland. You can hear the crowd are getting involved now as well, and City now thinking they've got a game on their hands.
Adingra scoring from inside the penalty area left on side on Sunday, and the equaliser against Leeds, his first for Sunderland since joining from Brighton in the summer, made up for the disappointment of not travelling to AFCON with the Ivory Coast. Another player that will be looking towards the World Cup in the summer to see if he can grasp a place there. Haaland tussling with Mukelele on the halfway line. He's back in his own half to keep his side in possession, but you can see the challenges flying in. Another one there from Dennis Shirkin on Cherki. And Brobby will close down Ruben Diaz inside his own penalty area as Manchester City are forced all the way back, almost to the goal line. Nico O'Reilly, because of the atmosphere, forced into an error, playing the ball straight out of play. 0-0.
Absolutely fantastic. You know, yes, of course, show Manchester City a lot of respect when you're coming into a game like this. They've been absolutely flying, and they look nervy in that first 15 minutes, Sunderland. But now they're growing into the game. They know they can create chances. If you put good players under pressure, they start to make mistakes. Nico O'Reilly, nobody around him, has to just clear the ball out of play. And again, it gives Sunderland a chance from another long throw that we've seen so many times this season, John.
It is a long throw from the right-hand side. About 25 yards out, so real run-up from Mukelele. Well, in fact, he's gone short to Granit Xhaka, closer to the halfway line, inside right position, across a square ball to Trey Hume, who first time curls it nicely onto the boot of Adingra on this left side. Coming onto his right foot, he's in the area, he's taken a tumble. Referee immediately says no. I agree with him, he was already going down outside the box, took one more step inside it before falling to the ground. Not too many complaints from the team in red and white stripes.
No, not for me. He's done very well there, Dringer. He's just tried to work the ball onto his right foot to get either a cross or a shot along the ground. But when he goes to ground, it's Ryan Cherki who makes contact with him. But it's not enough for me. You can hear the Sunderland supporters, obviously, they want a penalty. But I think you need a bit more contact than that, John.
Manchester City restart with Bernardo Silva, long-serving Manchester City player. They've given the ball away here. Bernardo Silva in his 9th season as a sky blue player. Phil Foden just goes between two challenges. Lovely balance and skill. Finds the ball to Haaland. Once more out-muscled by Nordin Mukelele and Trey Hume on that occasion. He's getting frustrated. Manchester City's number 9.
It's fantastic. Look, you know that Erling Haaland's going to try and get involved in the game as much as he can. But if you put physical pressure on a player, make him nervy, the ball had bounced off him as it did in that occasion, but Mukiele over the last couple of minutes, absolutely superb.
Manchester City regained possession. 0-0 at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. Nearly 25 minutes gone. Sunderland unbeaten in their 9 games in the Premier League here at the Stadium of Light since returning to the top flight. Manchester City away in the Premier League this season, winning 5, losing 3, drawing 1. Their last Premier League defeat was on the North East over at Newcastle by 2-1. They've won 12 of their last 14 in all competitions. The other defeat coming at home against Leverkusen in the Champions League. Foden starting to run towards the penalty area from the right-hand side of the field. He's backed up here by Nico Gonzalez. Lots of time and space for the Spaniard before allowing Ryan Cherki to take up possession on this right side. It's a step over. It's a low ball, right-footed, comfortably caught by Robin Roos. His name rings around the Stadium of Light. 0-0.
Yeah, he's done very well, Robin Roos, since he's came to Sunderland. He looks really assured in that Sunderland goal as well. Very commanding of his area. But you can sense there, City's build-up play, yes, it's very good and a lot of possession, but it's slow. And it's really hard for the City players to then find themselves a half a yard when that ball does come into the area. Look, they will get in behind, they will get chances in this game, but I think over the last few minutes, they know now this is not going to be an easy night for the Man City and the quality that they've got.
Bobbrick, nice layoff, got the ball forward, intercepted on the edge of the area. So it's currently Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Sunderland to win at 9-2. The draw is 16-5, and Manchester City to win is currently 8-15. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18+, begambleaware.org. 26.5 minutes gone. Goalless here. Also goalless over on Talksport. Brentford 0, Spurs 0. Best place to flip between the two games for our live Premier League coverage tonight is on the Talksport app, where you can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. More concerns for Pep Guardiola. Nathan Ake went down early with an injury. He's okay, but now Nico Gonzalez has just dropped to the ground inside the centre circle. And as it was with the injury to Ake, straight away a change was called for, and Rodri has been summoned back to the dugout. Again, he's getting stripped ready for action. This time the fourth official has the board ready as well. This one seems more certain it is going to happen, Mickey.
Yeah, and Nico Gonzalez, I think it was Granit Xhaka actually around that centre circle. The two players came together. No malice in it whatsoever, but I think it was just a contact with the top of his thigh. I could be wrong, but yeah, you can just see that challenge there. I wonder whether he's caught him on the ankle as well. You can see him limping around, and I don't know if Gonzalez himself is starting to shake his head, but it looks like the physios are working hard to try and get him back on his feet. And they need him. Look, yes, everybody wants to see Rodri come back and play for Manchester City, but Gonzalez has been excellent over the last month and a half, 2 months.
Would you be surprised if it is Rodri over Tijani Reinders, who's been playing more? Again, we saw with Ake, not played for a while, then we thought maybe struggling with injury. He seems to be okay now, but it's a rush back maybe for Rodri.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, he's stripped down to his shirt, Rodri. He's ready to go. I think he's asking the question himself, but I think he's putting his warm-up jacket back on, so I think it looks like Gonzalez is going to be okay. Well, this is a concern for Pep, isn't it? Certainly moving into this Christmas and January period. Gonzalez has got a niggly injury now, his ankle. Nathan Ake's picked up something, looks as if he's okay. And these games come thick and fast, and when you haven't got a huge squad like Man City, John, it's a little bit of a worry.
Manchester City play Chelsea on Sunday. That will be part of Game Day Live with Adrian Durham on Sunday. Rodri has taken off the coat. He's now placed an orange bib so he can go and warm up a little bit more down the left side touchline. Gonzalez is getting a pep talk off Pep, who seems annoyed by something, the Spanish manager. Kolo Touré has got the fourth official's board that was ready to show the numbers. Drop ball uncontested, which Sunderland have got, and via Enzo Laffi it's gone all the way back to Gianluigi Donnarumma. We've had 29 minutes at the Stadium of Light. Premier League action on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
Well, anybody, and I add myself to this as well, thinking I was coming to the Stadium of Light tonight, John, and expected Man City to just brush away Sunderland because of the players that are away and injured players as well. Well, they've certainly made a game of it. There's no question of that. And I think you can sense that by the crowd. They're getting involved in the game and they're growing in confidence, the home team.
Ball on the right side. Trey Hume trying to squeeze it in towards Granit Xhaka between two Manchester City players. They've lost possession. More activity on the bench. And it looks as though Gonzalez is going to be... Oh, he's back on the field, Gonzalez. Rodri has retaken his seat as well. Will be getting wrapped up once again as a cross comes in from Savinho on the left. Will come all the way through and out on this near side for a Sunderland throw. Half an hour gone, 0-0.
Well, I talked about Sunderland going back to a 5. Trey Hume's kind of drifting into that midfield area, but when they're defending, he's trying to get back in line with the other defenders. But the concern for me, and I think Savinho's looked really lively down the left-hand side for Man City, his end product is the only thing that's letting him down. It needs to improve because he's certainly got Gertrude on toast every single time he gets in a 1v1 situation with him. And I think Regis Lebrie's got to try and look at that, address it as quick as he possibly can.
Nico Gonzalez back in the action and playing the ball into Nico O'Reilly inside the centre circle. He's done a full 360 there to play the ball back to Nathan Ake, 25 yards from his own goal. Manchester City move it back to this right side. Cherki puts his foot on the ball with his back to the Sunderland goal, trying to hold off the challenge of Dennis Serkin. Made his Premier League debut in the game here against Leeds at the weekend. The player that's gone through the divisions, League One to Championship. Big moment for him to play back-to-back games in the Premier League, but that is due, Mickey, to the injuries and the players that have gone off to AFCON, that he's got his chance, but so far it seems to have taken it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you've been waiting in the wings for your first opportunity to play in the Premier League, then you've got to try and grab it with two hands, and that was always the worry when those players did go off, that the fringe players and players, even like, got them promoted from the Championship last season, are they good enough to play Premier League football? Well, I think we've been proven that they are.
31 and a half minutes in here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Savinho for City, facing the penalty area left-hand side. He's toying with Gertrude, who gets the cross in, left-footed. It was Mukiele's header 6 yards out with Haaland close by. Sunderland clear. Bobby thought he was foul, but the referee, Jared Gillett, says no, and Manchester City in their sky blue shirts have possession once again. Nico O'Reilly drifting into a midfield area. First time ball out to Savinho. Lovely reverse ball. Nico O'Reilly on the byline, back heels the ball so it stays in the penalty area, but it's come straight through to Nordin Mukiele. His pass forward is intercepted by Gonzalez. Sunderland throw, 32 gone, 0-0.
Well, surely, if I'm sat up here, John, and I can see how much of a worry it is every time Savinho picks up that ball on the left-hand side and he is in that 1v1 situation. The coaches down in front of us in that Sunderland technical area and the manager can see exactly the same thing. It is a worry because, look, yeah, his quality hasn't been there, his final or his end product hasn't been good, but there's going to be a point in time where that changes. When you've got somebody like Erling Haaland in between the sticks, he'll make something happen. Circuit, ball over the halfway line into the feet of Dingra. Cirkin receiving it back and playing it back to central defender Omar Alderete, Paraguayan international, joined from Getafe in the summer. Scored the winner at Forest in a 1-0 win back in September. Paraguay playing the USA and Australia in the World Cup during the summer. Another misplaced pass, but it will find Granit Xhaka more fortune than skill on that occasion, but Xhaka with the ball into the feet of Adingra. Left-hand side for Sunderland, coming into the penalty area. Did have the overlapping run of Serkin, but it's a cross that's beyond the two that had made their way into the middle in Mayenda and Brobbey. And Manchester City regained possession. 33 gone, 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light. Well in from Mukiele, got in front of Erling Haaland on the halfway line to spark another attack for the home side. Ball into the feet of Brobbey on the edge of the area, tried to find Lafay right of the D. Once more it was quick thinking from the Manchester City defence. Great ball from Alderete. I'm sat up here thinking he's going to play it wide. There's another chance here. It's a shot which has been charged down by Gonzalez. It was Mayenda coming in from the right side, left-footed shot, edge of the penalty area. But for Gonzalez, that was heading towards the goal. It's a Sunderland corner, 0-0. Yeah, really good play from Sunderland again, and Mayenda has been a live wire for Sunderland in this first half. You can see he's got the bit between the teeth. He wants to get that ball onto his left foot. One thought in his mind, get half a yard and get your shot away. Good defending in the end from City, but the pressure's not gone away yet. Enzo Lafay will take the corner. His loan of last season turning permanent from Roma in the summer.
He raises both arms on this left side of the field at the Stadium of Light. Floated towards the far post, where the header came in from Mayenda. But it was off target, a glancing header. Needed to rise slightly higher to cause Donnarumma any problems. Still remains 0-0.
You know, John, I haven't seen Man City a lot this season. And Donnarumma, look, he's one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. He doesn't half flap the corners at times and makes mistakes, but seems to get away with it on a weekly basis.
You're listening to Sunderland versus Manchester City on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. 35 gone. It's been a real even game. Not too many chances. Manchester City thought they'd scored early. Bernardo Silva's finish ruled out for offside, and then Gianluigi Donnarumma having to make a good save to deny Brian Brobby midway through the first half. 10 minutes of normal time remaining here at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2, where it's 0-0 over on Talksport. Brentford 0, Spurs 0. Best way to listen to both games is to download the Talksport app and swipe left and right, and you can hear all of our Premier League coverage this evening on Talksport and Talksport 2. On Saturday, we've got Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest, 12:30 kickoff. That's live and exclusive on Talksport. Ahead of Game Day Live that starts at 2:30 with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League and the National League. Here at the Stadium of Light, Ruben Diaz is slowly walking towards the halfway line before he plays the ball short to Savinho, who dropped in alongside him to the left of the centre circle. Now it's Nico Gonzalez in between the two central defenders of Manchester City. Sunderland remaining in their shape. Manchester City remaining patient. Manchester City, the leading goal scorers in the Premier League so far this campaign, ahead of Arsenal. City have the second best defence, Arsenal with the best, although Sunderland have the third best defence. So maybe not a surprise we've not seen too many chances so far, with the defences of both of these sides been so stubborn and mean throughout the campaign so far at the halfway stage. Here's Bernardo Silva, 20 yards from the Sunderland goal, left touchline. Plays it short infield to Ryan Cherky. Ball into the feet of Mateus Nunes. It's a cross from Foden. It's a Haaland shot that's saved by the legs of Robin Roofs. It was straight at the keeper. Haaland probably about 8-9 yards out. Will feel he should have done better. Maybe it is the best chance Manchester City have had in this opening half of the game, and here is a chance for Sunderland to break forward with Mayenda across the face of goal and away by Ruben Diaz in front of his goalkeeper Donnarumma. Chances at both ends. It remains 0-0.
Well, it's such an open game of football now, and I have to say I didn't think Erling Haaland was going to miss. Great build-up play from City, and with his weaker right foot, if that's what we want to call it, I was just waiting for the ball to roll into the back of the net. Great save from Roofs, and then seconds later the pace of Sunderland yet again causing City problems at the back. And that's what they have to try and do. They know that they're not going to shut out Man City throughout the whole of this 90 minutes. They are going to get chances. But it's, can you make them yourself? Can you create them? But can you put the ball in the back of the net? Great game.
Long throw is about to be launched in by Mukiele on the right side. 10 yards from the corner flag. Away by Nathan Ake just on the corner of the 6-yard box. It's been sent back in again to the penalty area. It's bobbling around inside the D. Then Haaland gets a touch. It's away by Gonzalez. In there first is Lafy, and Sunderland will send the ball in from Lafy from the left-hand side. A Ruben Diaz header gets Manchester City in possession. Great control from Phil Foden. Outstretched right leg, bringing it in his powers before he releases Ryan Cherky on this right side. Slows things down. Waits for some support. Here's Gonzalez. 30 yards from the Sunderland goal, just right of centre. Back out to this near side, where Cherky gets an inch of space and he takes it into the penalty area, onto the byline. One trick too many, allows Lafy to poke the ball away. Another Manchester City corner. 39 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a worry, isn't it, when Phil Foden's picking that ball up anywhere near that centre circle. One touch, and it was a super ball out to Ryan Cherky over on this right-hand side. Cherky had a couple of bites at the cherry to get that ball in the area, but in the end, really good defending from Enzo Lafy. But again, City from a corner, they look like they've got every outfield player in or around that 18-yard area of Sunderland.
Phil Foden raises his arms to the sky. A Manchester City corner on the right side, left-footed to the far post towards Ake. It came off Ake last. It was initially Mayenda who rose to get the header in. It would have gone for the corner. Inadvertently came off Nathan Ake, the Dutch defender. It remains 0-0, closing in on half-time.
Yeah, just you could see Nathan Ake as he was going towards that far post. And look, Mayenda, he's not great in the air, but he put Ake off, saw the ball very late, couldn't react quick enough, and the pressure then just seeps away. And you can see they're trying to slow the game down now, Sunderland yet again. When they get the opportunity, they have to go through the gears themselves.
Gertrude. There's that long ball again that has caused Manchester City problems. A header from Ake is brought under control on the right side by Trey Hugh. Gertrude gets there again. It's a ball fizzed into Brobby on the edge of the area. Back to goal. Turns, finds a Dingra. Just one touch too many. Allowed Cherki to take it from him. You could see he was trying to shift it onto his right foot to try and get a curling effort in. And then as Mukiele comes forward to win the ball, Gertrude even gives a foul away, much to his annoyance. 0-0.
It's Erling Haaland who's held the ball up, and he's done it very well tonight, albeit he's not been involved in the game a lot. But as soon as he felt that contact, he was always going to go to ground. But you can see City now, they're starting to worry about Sunderland and the forward players that they've got, because they've got pace, they've got quality. Maybe a game they were coming into knowing it was going to be a tough one, John, but thinking to themselves, yeah, well, we're better than you. Well, over the last 10 or 15 minutes, that's been completely turned on its head, because Sunderland have certainly grown into it.
Matheus Nunes, former Wolves midfielder, now a Manchester City right back, with a switch of play, intercepted by the head of Gertrude on the halfway line. Exchanges a ball with Mayenda, back towards Mayenda. He's sprinting at full pace. He just won't be able to get there, and it rolls away for a goal kick. 41 minutes gone. Talksport 2, Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
Well, Lucharel Gertrude has actually grown into the game a lot more, and when he wins possession in the opposition's half, he looks such a better player, looks confident, looks as if he's got a pass in him as well. He's looking for those runners in behind, and they look quite comfortable, Sunderland, albeit they've had a couple of worries with City's quality, and you're always going to get that, but so far, so good.
Showed his versatility in recent weeks. Gertrude played in midfield against Leeds, has played at centre-half for most of the games he's played with Sunderland since joining on loan from RB Leipzig in the summer. Former Feyenoord player, a title winner in the Dutch league. Nico Gonzalez again dropping between Manchester City's two centre-halves in the centre circle, and then moves it to the left to Nathan Ake, who takes a few strides forward before releasing it to Savinho. And then Nico O'Reilly is ahead of Savinho on the left touchline, but City have brought it back into the centre of the field with Gonzalez. Both Savinho and O'Reilly making runs from outside to in to give the Spaniard an option, but instead he comes to the right side. Bernardo Silva, left-footed, pokes it back to Matheus Nunes close to the halfway line. Matheus Nunes making his 95th Manchester City appearance tonight. And a ball from Bernardo Silva looking to get Cherki in behind, but it will roll out to play for a throw-in. 0-0. Well,
you don't see it very often, do you? But I think City are being forced into making mistakes. Their movement has to be sharp and quick. The passing has to be first time. This occasion, Bernardo Silva trying to flick one round the corner to Rayan Cherki. And I'm just looking down, John. I see Pep Guardiola's clapping his hands because I think he enjoys the build-up play, but he will not be happy with the amount that they've given the ball away.
Just that one real chance from Erling Haaland, saved by Robin Roos. Roos, who has the best save ratio in the Premier League. He's conceded 6 fewer than the XG would suggest. And saving from Erling Haaland, who after going 2 games without a goal, can you imagine, in November, he's now scored 5 in 5 in December. He's scored at every Premier League ground he has played in, apart from this one, because he hasn't played here before. Didn't score against Sunderland a few weeks ago in the 3-0 win at Etihad Stadium, so needs to chalk that one off as well. In fact, sorry, he hasn't scored at Anfield. So Anfield and Stadium alike, the two on his scratch card to scratch off.
Yeah, I was hoping you weren't going to mention that, John, but now you have. We're nearly at half-time. Look, you never count your chickens, do you? But that was a big chance for Erling Haaland, wasn't it? A few moments ago. One you'd expect him to score. And now the chances why he's been brought to Man City and why he's the top scorer, or seems to be every single season.
If he scores tonight, big if, Mickey, I'm going to go with the if, it will be his 150th Manchester City goal. Feels like he's only been here 2 minutes.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. What a centre forward.
We're in the final 50 seconds of normal time in this first half on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Lovely skill, Bernardo Silva pulls it away from Alderete and then sprints over the halfway line right side away from Adingra, who had a nibble, and the referee rightly gives the free kick against Adingra. There's no stopping the Portuguese there. Rolling back the years. In his 9th season with the club, the 31-year-old, over 430 appearances for Manchester City, and pretty much every trophy he could have won, he has won. Here is Cherki at the opposite end of his Manchester City career. Ball in field to Phil Foden. Final knockings of the first half. A ball fizzed in. Roos will come to claim just on the edge of his 6-yard area. Savinho had made a diagonal run looking for that pass, but Roos there to calm things down. Remains 0-0.
Yeah, that's what they have to be careful of, isn't it? You know, players running in behind. That's when you switch off. Quality players punish you.
Here's Bernardo Silva, right of the D. A ball with the outside of his left foot was clear, but only as far as Cherki seems to be having his shirt pulled. Cherki gets the cross in, too high for Haaland. It's Savinho, drills it back across. Cherki keeps it in play on the byline, no offside. He's looped one in that was headed away by Mayenda to the edge of the area where Lafay will keep the clearances coming. No free kick. Lafay seemed to be pushed. We are into 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
My goodness, 2 great balls into the area for Man City, right across the 6-yard area. Any contact, it finds its way into the back of the net, and this is the pressure City were hoping for before that half-time whistle.
Phil Foden toying with a dinger on that occasion, just right of centre, midway inside the Sunderland half. Out to the left-hand side for Manchester City, attacking the Roker end in this first half. Savinho goes on the outside of Trey Hume. It's a block by Hume. I think that came back off Savinho. Will be a goal kick as we're in injury time at the Stadium of Light. 0-0.
Yeah, better match-up. Trey Hume across there, trying to stop Savinho putting that ball into the area on a couple of occasions. Defended really well against him, whereas when Geertruide's been found in a 1v1 situation with Savinho, it looks like he's got the better of him every single time. He's doing such a great job, Trey Hume. Might be going under the radar a little bit. He's drifting into that midfield area, but also drifting out to play as a right back at times, doing an excellent job.
Ever present in the Premier League this season, Trey Hume, the 23-year-old, who joined from Linfield. Another player that has played for Sunderland in League One, Championship and Premier League. No free kick. It was Brobbey looking for it. It's Cherki with 3 Sunderland players around it, but won't get the free kick. Will be a throw that Dennis Serkin will take. Where's the number 3 for Sunderland? Stood in front of Pep Guardiola, all in black this evening, his arms crossed. Regis Labrie to the left of the halfway line, all in black in his branded Sunderland attire. As Dennis Serkin sends the throw down this near side touchline. Infield, initially from a dinger, might come back his way via the head of Bernardo Silva. Now it's Lafay. Good ball into Brobbey, left of the penalty area with his back to goal. He's facing the corner flag for the moment. Lafay is busy buzzing around and he's there to assist to take the ball off Lafay, and then the cross came in dangerously from Xhaka, and the header almost on the penalty spot from Trey Hume, just over the bar. City have got things underway quickly. That was a big chance.
Great chance for Trey Hume, and just look at how hard he's working now to get back goal side as well. Wonderful build-up play. Great ball in from Granit Xhaka, and Hume, he just tried to twist his head just to guide it towards that City goal, but couldn't quite get over the top of it. That's to go down as a big chance.
Another ball in, this time Manchester City, flicked on by Bernardo Silva. It was behind Haaland, and Sunderland will come away with Trey Hume, as Mickey said, working so hard from front to back, and back up front again. Here is the furthest forward Sunderland player as he closes down Ake, and he'll give a free kick away. I wondered whether we might see the first yellow card of the game. Trey Hume doesn't need a yellow card. If he's booked tonight, he misses Sunderland's next game against Spurs. He's escaped to caution there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're here, John, aren't we? We talk about players and how good they are on the ball, and if they create something for the team, you know, we say it's fantastic. But Trey Hume, his work ethic tonight has been absolutely outstanding. It really has. Working hard for the team defensively, finding himself, trying to get Sunderland in front with that little glancing header as well. You see he's got his hands on his knees at the moment. He must be absolutely shattered, but what a first half he's had.
We're into the final 60 seconds of the additional time in the first half. It's a Manchester City free kick, around 15 yards in field inside the Sunderland half. Floated into this near side. 2 Sunderland players go for it. Mukiele with the more decisive of the headers. And then Sunderland with a Dingra. Will be closed out by Mateus Nunes. Last stages of this first half. Sunderland putting the pressure on again. Manchester City have it in their own half of the field. Now over the halfway line to Cherki. Plays the ball off Kirkin. And then infield across the halfway line to Foden. Foden wants it back and gets it. Dingra quickly closes him down, breathing down the back of the neck of the City midfielder who has run into Brian Brobby. There's got a yellow card here. Not to do with Brobby. As I say, Foden just ran into him, and I think he's twisted his knee in the process. Will be the final bit of action in this first half. Was the yellow card shown to Dennis Sirkin?
Well, he was pointing in that direction. I think it could be a Dingra. Yeah, he just stands on the back of his heel, doesn't he? Which is a nasty one. We've seen it over the last couple of weeks, haven't we? Certain players are willing to try and win the ball, but I think if it's nowhere in the vicinity, you're always going to find yourself in the book there, and I think Simon Dingra can have no complaints about that one.
And there is half-time in a really intriguing game. It's been end-to-end, really open. Maybe chances haven't been too generous, but it certainly hasn't detracted from the excitement. City thought they were in front really early on when a corner from Cherki from the left, flicked on by Haaland, finished by Bernardo Silva, ruled off rightly for half-time. Sunderland with a couple of big chances. The first came to Brian Brobby, released, and the right-hand side out-muscled Ruben Diaz. A shot at the near post was saved by Donnarumma. City's best chance came to their leading scorer, 25 goals this season for Erling Haaland. It was a ball in from Bernardo Silva from the right. Haaland 8 yards out, played it straight at the feet of Robin Root, and then Sunderland's final big chance came via the head of Trey Hume. Yet to score this season, great delivery from Granit Xhaka. The most assists this season for Sunderland. The ball in from the left. Hume up from the back. A header about 12 yards out was just over the bar. Decent stuff, Mickey. Really enjoyable on this New Year's Day, but no goals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Really enjoyed the first half. If I could sum it up, I thought the first 15-20 minutes, City looked as if they were just going to run riot against the Sunderland side, who've been very good at home, but something just clicked in their heads of the red and white shirts, and they started to perform, and I think it came from that run and strike from Brian Brobby. From that moment, they never looked back. The high press started to happen. They were winning the ball up. They looked a lot more confident, created opportunities themselves. Haaland, yes, you expect him to put the ball in the back of the net, but that's going to happen on games like this tonight. But I think overall, a performance that Sunderland can certainly be proud of so far.
You said at the time they just felt a bit nervous early on, but now, again, to quote you, they're in the game. And City, they then started to look nervous at times.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, John, I don't think I can remember a time where City have given the ball away too much, and that comes down to rushing things, trying to get things over the line as quick as you possibly can, and they're nervy at times, giving the ball away, and they've looked shaky. And if you're pressing quality players and don't give them the time on the ball, they start to make mistakes and give the ball away, and that's what happened. And you've just got to try and instill that little bit more belief. The Sunderland players have got that. And I think it was a really good first half, not just from Sunderland, but I thought City played well at times also.
Half-time here at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. It is Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. You're listening to Game Day exclusive live on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Sunderland versus Manchester City. Live tonight, search Now Sports.
Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream over 50 live Premier League games flexibly with Now. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
The PDC World Darts Championship is down to the final four. Don't miss any of the top flight action ahead of the semi-final on Talksport with Village Hotels. Join Andy Arrows Goldstein and Darren Bullseye Bent live from Ali Pally for unbeatable build-up, banter and big foam fingers. Drive at the PDC World Darts Championship semi-final tomorrow afternoon from 4 on Talksport with Village Hotels. Dine out, stay, work out, play.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace, Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree, playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo? Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim. No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals. Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action.
Think you've said it all there, Clive.
Sorry, Jim.
Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway.
Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
As you can hear from my voice, I'm in a state of high exhilaration. Yes, I am positively beside myself. The reason that I can barely contain my enthusiasm is the IKEA winter sale. 4 weeks of incredible bargains. The inexpressible thrill of finding precisely the right thing at the right price. Sale now on IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Coming soon, the 2026 FIFA World Cup live on Talksport and Talksport 2.
And that is a sensational goal!
48 teams, 39 days, 3 host countries, 1 summer of unbelievable, unbeatable sporting drama.
It's a world-class free kick from a world-class player.
Unrivaled kick-by-kick commentary of every single game across the entire tournament.
Comes to the far post, hits the post, and he's got in!
The 2026 FIFA World Cup starts this June on Talksport and Talksport 2.
Hard-hitting football coverage.
He hits it first time, what a volley, what a goal!
Pushing the apex of live football.
The Premier League, live
on Talksport 2.
You're listening to Game Day exclusive live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. It's half-time at the Stadium of Light, where it's Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. We'll have full second-half commentary to come from here. But earlier on here on Talksport 2, we brought you Crystal Palace's 1-1 draw at home to Fulham. It's now 6 games without a win for Oliver Glasner's side, and the Palace boss gave his reaction to Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams.
It's a tough game at the end. We could see legs are fatigued, mind was fatigued, and we looked like we were a little bit in a survival mode. And we survived with 1 point. What's for me a very good point today, very important point to cut this downward spiral after 3 defeats and getting this point, and a huge appreciation for the players' effort and getting this point home.
Just 2 more, one actually on the game, funnily enough, you'll be delighted to know. I thought that your goalkeeper, especially at the end, was absolutely outstanding. I mean, that's what you pay him for, but he still made a crucial save. And Nathaniel Klein, who's knocking on 34, 35, put in a tremendous shift. Could have scored a goal, set up a goal, and actually, you didn't miss Muniz tonight because of him.
Yes, many positive aspects. Yeah, I think again, first half was a good first half. Nice goal, great assist from Klein, and also important that JP scored again. A great header from him, and we did well. And for Klein, is maybe the same like for all the others. Then got a little bit fatigued, and then their pressure increased. We couldn't release us from their pressure, and then it was a question of time to concede the equalizer. But yes, he did. It's good to have him, and we will need him in the next games, because I don't expect anybody coming back who can play there. I was, of course, Dean Henderson, as you said. In a few moments you need a great goalkeeper. He had this incredible save right at the end, and that's why we got this point.
The last one from me, January only has 31 days, so I'll probably only ask you 31 times. Mark Gahey, is he going to stay for the end of the month?
So I just say yes every single day. So you ask me 31 days and I say yes, and I hope I never have to answer with a no.
That was Oliver Glasner after the 1-1 home draw with Fulham. His opposite number, Marco Silva, was unhappy with the Palace opener as there was a Fulham player down injured at the time.
They scored in the moment that the game was controlled, and to be honest, a moment that we should not be playing with 10 man. Doesn't make any sense right now, because it happened twice with us first half. If a player goes down, I think it's a normal. If you feel the arm or the hand, I don't know, in his face, I think it's a normal reaction. You go down. Cuenca was standing up so quick in that moment. Not a reason for the first steps from the medical staff on the pitch. Cuenca was already standing up. Not a reason to call the medical staff in any moment, because the game should be played 11 against 11 and not 11 against 10 anytime you have. Okay, one concussion, you can feel it. That is a concussion, can be something dangerous, you can call the medical staff, but not every time. And this happened too often, not just with us, I'm talking so, and the referees, they should be, with the experience that they have, to manage the game in a completely different way in that moment, because I repeat again, football matches to be playing against 11 against 11 and not every time to put players out without a reason. And this afternoon was completely without a reason for Cuenca to be out in that moment. Of course, looking for me and for ourselves, we should defending better that moment, should be more mature in that moment. Of course, we lost a duel Robinson with Klein, and of course gave them the chance to create the super inside the box. We have the conditions to defend better that situation, but without a reason to be with 10 man.
That was Marco Silva after the Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 1 game that we covered on Talksport 2. Over on Talksport, Liverpool are now 12 points behind the league leaders Arsenal after being held to a 0-0 draw at home to Leeds. The point moves Leeds 7 points clear of the drop zone. And Daniel Farker spoke to Talksport 2's Adam Bridge after the game.
Daniel, congratulations. Coming to Anfield and getting a point is no easy feat, but your team did it and did it very well this evening.
Yes, and especially with a clean sheet and under the circumstances, we played here as a promoted side, the reigning champion. They were on it today, a special atmosphere in the stadium, New Year's Day, you could feel it. And of course, they were also in last week's back to their best shape, many wins, and then to show such a resilience today, to defend that well in so many periods of the game. Of course, we had to suffer today also in many periods and had to defend really solid, but we didn't allow many clear-cut chances, allowed, of course, more possession, but more or less a possession in areas when they didn't hurt us or couldn't hurt us that much, and had also our spells, especially in the beginning of the game in the second half, and I think a hard fought and well-deserved point.
Leeds United have lost a lot of football matches here over the years. The supporters will know that. What was the secret today to being as resilient as you were? And it kind of got summed up at the end with your defenders and your goalkeeper with that mass hug on the final whistle in the penalty area.
Yes, first of all, the quality of all the lads, because if you just defend, it's not enough. You need also periods when you control the ball. This is what we did. Would have preferred, of course, a few more periods, but was important not just to defend and just to park the bus. But on the other hand, of course, a really good, solid defensive structure, quality individual performances of the lads, and also then good spells when we keep the ball and put the game a bit more in their half and were in possession. We could also a bit recover in possession. Even the second half, I got the feeling, so perhaps the game falls also for us. We had also some good situations. Offside goal was then disallowed with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Overall, you need a complex performance in order to travel away with points, and this is what we have delivered.
And a sixth game unbeaten. This kind of momentum is really important at what is a crucial time of the year, isn't it?
Yes, because it means also that you win points on the other hand, and of course we're there in a good point tally. To be there with more than 20 points already after this amount of games is really good. We're on a good path, but we also know we need to win a few more points in order to achieve our goals, and the goal is definitely survival for this year. So yes, everyone can be happy at the moment, but we have to keep going and for that quick recovery, and then hopefully we are on it again on Sunday.
That was Daniel Farker after Leeds drawing 0-0 at Anfield against Liverpool. That was a game we covered live on Talksport earlier today. On Talksport at the moment it's half-time, Brentford 0, Spurs 0. And here on Talksport 2 at the Stadium of Light, it's the same score. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Former England international, former Sunderland defender and Talksport's Northwest correspondent Mickey Gray is alongside me. 0-0 at the break here, Mickey, but as we said, a really exciting game. What are your expectations now for the second half? Hopefully more of the same, obviously.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Look, it's a game in the balance, isn't it? Where I think maybe a lot of people will come in this stadium tonight maybe expecting Man City to just run away with it and get 2 or 3 goals. Well, it's not been the case. You look at the stats at half-time, they're pretty level, to be honest with you. And I think that's testament to the way that Sunderland have grown into that first 45 minutes. So Regis Sabri didn't really have to say too much to his players at half-time, maybe shore things up a little bit in certain positions. But I think the onus looks to me like it should be on Man City and the quality they have in that final third of how to break Sunderland down. So a lot to work on in the second half, but playing at the Stadium of Light, trying to hang on to this thing that they've got going at the moment where they're unbeaten. They've got 45 minutes to do so again.
They beat Newcastle here. They drew 2-2 with Arsenal. They've had tough tests. Maybe this is the toughest because of the 6 players away at AFCON and a couple of injuries. But from that first half, they have stood up to it so well.
And the pressure is on City, John. We talked about this before kick-off. They want to stay on the coattails of Arsenal. They need to win football matches. They've not done so yet. 45 minutes into it, they've not been able to find the back of the net. So the pressure is on the away side to try and get those 3 points. So Sunderland, at times in this second half, can just soak up the pressure and wait for their opportunities.
Looks as though there will be a change at half-time because as we glance down towards the tunnel, Rodri, who nearly came on in the first half as Nico Gonzalez seemed to be struggling with an injury. And as we glance around, yet to see Nico Gonzalez appear, so we would assume that is the change that will take place. And again, we talked about Rodri pre-match. We talked about him when we thought he was going to come in the first half. Hasn't played much this season. 6 Premier League appearances, 3 starts. Has been out since November. Was an unused substitute against Nottingham Forest on the early kick-off on Saturday. Big 45 minutes for him this evening.
It's massive. Absolutely massive. Look, I hope he's fit and well, and I hope he sees out the 90 minutes because we want to see Rodri playing on a weekly basis. He's that good of a player, and this is going to be a test for him tonight. I hope he's had a good warm-up. I hope he's ready for it. Let's see what he can bring to City in the second half.
Sunderland get us underway in their red and white striped shirts, black shorts and red socks. Manchester City in sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Traditional colours from both of these sides on the first day of 2026. Have we got a first goal of this match in the offing? With the ball laid back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, out to Nathan Ake on the left side of the penalty area. A short pass to Nico O'Reilly, close to the corner flag, receives it back. The Dutchman goes long up towards the halfway line. Phil Foden picks it up, gives it back to Nico O'Reilly in that left back position before moving it back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, the goalkeeper who signed on deadline day from PSG. It's out to the right back position this time before a ball that's played forward but intercepted by Dennis Cirkin. Bernardo Silva was there first, but then Alderete from the right side, touchline far side, will steer the ball back to Robin Roos, Sunderland's Dutch-born goalkeeper. That's unused 6 times for the Dutch national side. As City come forward with Cherki's approaching the penalty area, right corner, a low ball delivered in and Savinho should score. He's inside the 6-yard area, sliding in, and somehow he's diverted it over the ball. It's over the bar, rather. It's a delightful ball in from Cherki, who just had too much space, and a player that can't stop creating at the minute should have created the first goal of the game.
Well, the space on the right-hand side for Ryan Cherki is too much. He's got time to just whip that ball into a great area, and he does so. But Savinho has to do better. Look, he's stretching out his left foot, but he just needs to make contact with it. Looks like it bounces just in front of him, but that's no excuse. He has to put that in the back of the net. What a chance.
First chance of the second half goes the way of the team in sky blue. 0-0 between Sunderland and Manchester City, live on Talksport 2. Only 1 Premier League goal in over 40 appearances for Savinho. It came in December of 24 in a 2-0 win at Leicester City. As Manchester City back in possession, left touchline, Nico O'Reilly, ball infield to Rodri, first touch for the Spaniard, wears 16. Was the Ballon d'Or winner 2 seasons ago before the ACL injury that ruled him out of pretty much all of the last campaign. Hamstring injuries have troubled him throughout this season. This is his 7th Premier League appearance of the campaign, 4 of those including tonight as a substitute. Here's Nathan Ake back in that left back position again. Nico O'Reilly infield to Rodri, as Gonzalez did in the first half. He sits between the 2 central defenders, and it's a ball into Foden, lovely turn, and a ball into Savinho. He's in behind the Sunderland defence, left hand side, a ball that's saved by the outstretched leg of Roos. It came out to Haaland, first time has smashed it over the bar, and Savinho came close to scoring an opening goal, nearly came close to creating one there, although I think the first effort was a shot that Roos, outstretched leg, turned into the path of Haaland. Again, that's a chance for the Norwegian.
Well, City have started this second half the way they started the first half, full of confidence, and that problem that Sunderland had in the first half of Savinho getting in behind, here Truda over on this left-hand side, he does everything right, keeps it low, gets his shot on target, but what a save from Robin Roos, getting down low, using his feet, spreading his body as much as he possibly can. But they're on the back foot, the home team at the moment.
And Pep Guardiola might be about to make a second change early in this second half, because Jeremy Doku, he's been out 3 games with an injury. Looks as though he's going to replace Savinho, who's been tended to by the medical team behind the goal to our left-hand side, and he's bent down with his hands in his face at the minute. Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to continue. So 2 enforced changes for Pep Guardiola, 1 at half-time and 1 straight after half-time. Sunderland, first attack for them in this second half. Lovely ball into Sirkin, left of the penalty area. He's done well to dig that out. It's chipped, and it's come all the way through to Gertrude, right corner of the penalty area. Now Xhaka. It's a lovely curling ball. Sirkin with a diving header. It was taken off his head by Mateus Nunes. Nearly had his head taken off, but it was an important clearance. Sirkin back to his feet. Both sides having chances. Remains 0-0.
Well, Dennis Sirkin's brave, isn't he? Great ball in from Xhaka, that little whip curly one with his left foot. And you can see Dennis Sirkin putting his head where it hurts. Mateus Nunes had to keep his eyes on the ball and did so. That was the first opportunity for Sunderland in this second half. It's such an open game and it's end-to-end football. Some really good stuff at times being played.
Quick run through the 2 teams. We've not had a chance to shoot to such a quick start to this second half. Roos in goal for Sunderland. Hume, Gertrude, Mukelele, Alderete and Sirkin, almost a back 5 at times, although Hume does move into midfield. He's been absolutely everywhere, the Sunderland player. Adingra, Lafitte, Mayenda and Xhaka in midfield, with Brobby up front for City. Donnarumma in goal, Mateus Nunes, Diaz, Ake and O'Reilly as the back 4. Bernardo Silva alongside Rodri now in midfield. As Adingra comes for a ball into Brobby, edge of the area, just went down. Wasn't really too much pressure from Ruben Diaz, just lost his balance as he was trying to back into the Manchester City midfielder. Bernardo Silva, Rodri in midfield, Savinho, Cherky Foden supporting Haaland for Manchester City. 5 minutes gone in the second half, 0-0.
Yeah, and City now down to 10 men. Savinho has come off the pitch with another problem for Pep Guardiola and his team. And he wants to get that substitution on, which is going to be Jeremy Doku, as quick as he possibly can.
Doku has had a 3-game injury layoff since the 3-0 home win to Sunderland. 5 Premier League assists in his 15 games for the Belgium. Got 6 in total last season, proving he's improved in his second campaign under Pep Guardiola's guidance. We're back underway from the throw-in. Ball goes back to Robin Roos. 0-0 here on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0 over on Talksport. Spurs 0, Brentford 0. You can switch between the 2 if you download the Talksport app. Swipe left for Talksport, swipe back right for Talksport 2. Here's Lafitte. Lovely ball in, Mayenda. Can he hold off? Ake is driven it into Adingra. His shot from an acute angle, straight into the palms of Donnarumma at his near post. Once again, Mayenda and Adingra, the 2 wide players, both popping up on the left-hand side. And again, it nearly proved fruitful for Sunderland, who come forward again with Gertrude, right of the penalty area. Goes on the outside of O'Reilly. Low ball is away by Nathan Ake on the 6-yard line. Now Xhaka Cross comes in, deflected away by Phil Foden. The roar from the Sunderland fans as they get the first corner of the second half, 0-0.
Well, back into the game against Sunderland to Dingret. Look, it's a tight angle, it really is. Mienda maybe can get his shot away, but when it falls to Wadringa, you think it's an easy save for Donnarumma in that City goal. It's right at him, but he doesn't really deal with it very well. And Sunderland now putting pressure on City.
Granit Xhaka, corner from the Sunderland right. He's low. Mateus Nunes is there, having to stoop to clear. It's come back to Xhaka. Ball to the edge of the area. Hatruda thought about crossing first time, then got his head down to try and take it to the byline. But Ryan Cherky stuck with him all the way and managed to get in front of the Sunderland player to make the clearance. It's up to the halfway line, and Granit Xhaka, facing his own goal, left-footed, plays it back to Robin Reeves, 0-0.
It's not like Granit Xhaka to try and beat that first man from his set pieces, whether it's free kicks or corners, but on this occasion, when they are on the front foot, it has to be better. He hasn't done very many things wrong in a Sunderland shirt, but that has to improve.
Nico O'Reilly is facing the byline for the moment on this near side. City's left towards the corner flag. He's turned, playing it blindly up the field, and Pep Guardiola is furious because it's gone straight to Granit Xhaka. Now it's Enzo Lafitte. A ball in, lovely, into Mayenda. It's opened up for the shot. Left-footed save by Donnarumma down to his left really quickly. Great goalkeeping from the big goalkeeper. Mayenda coming into the side this evening has shown his worth. And as he got in, he's almost on the penalty spot, left-footed coming in from the right side. His shot was on target, and Donnarumma down so quickly. So vital a save, 0-0.
Well, I really should be praising Sunderland, and I'm going to a little bit, John, because they've been excellent in the last few minutes yet again, but what is City doing? Defensively, they look really shaky. They're not getting clear of the ball. Sunderland are picking up the second balls, getting themselves into good areas.
Long throw comes in, flicked on by Brobby to the edge of the box, where it's away by Cherky. But after a really bright opening to the half from Manchester City, where they had a couple of chances, now they're very much on the back foot. We've had nearly 10 minutes of this second period, and it's Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Another long ball. Aldrete had stayed forward. He was the furthest forward player, the Sunderland centre-half. Now he's got a long jog back as Doku comes over the halfway line for Manchester City. The substitute, City have made 2 changes. Here's Rodri, the other change that Pep Guardiola was forced into making. Nico Gonzalez off injured, and so too Savinho, who had City's best chance in the opening stages of the second half. Here is Doku. He's popped up 30 yards out, centre of the field, out to Ryan Cherky, who's into the box. He's going to get to the byline. It's a chip ball. It's away by Alderete over to the far side. That'll be a throw. You're listening to Sunderland versus Manchester City on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Sunderland versus Manchester City live right now. Search Now Sports. 0-0, Mickey.
Well, Sunderland have got to keep this tempo up. It seems to be suiting the home side rather than Manchester City, who want to try and slow things down, then go through the gears and work their magic. Yes, they've created a couple of opportunities in this second half, but Sunderland certainly looked more of a threat over the last 5 to 6 minutes in the game and had 2 big opportunities.
Here's Jeremy Doku just moving in from the left touchline. Right-footed ball, is trying to thread it down the left of the penalty area to Phil Foden. Foden gives Doku a look that probably says everything he's thinking. It's gone through to Robin Reeves.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it, John? You know, City rarely panic when they get round that 18-yard area, but even Jeremy Doku, who's just came onto the field now, it's more of a rushed pass to try and break down this line of Sunderland, who have just been so solid. And you can see Pep Guardiola scratching his head again, wondering how he's going to break Sunderland down.
Pep Guardiola's first Premier League game was against Sunderland in August of 2016. A 2-1 win. Sergio Aguero a goal scorer. Jermaine Defoe scoring for Sunderland. Since then, Sunderland have had 10 permanent managers. They've had back-to-back relegations, back to the Premier League. City have had 6 titles, all under Pep Guardiola. And it looks as though City are about to make another change. In fact, Sunderland are about to make a change as well.
Yeah, a couple of changes coming just to freshen things up. I think Wilson Isidore looks like he's going to be coming on the field for Sunderland just to give them that bit of pace and edge up front. I think Josko Gvardiol is coming on for Manchester City as well. Experience, know-how, bit of pace to maybe just see this game out. I'm sure before the end of the game, John, we are going to get a goal, but I couldn't tell you what side it's going to come from.
Well, Nico O'Reilly's coming off for Vardiol, and it comes moments after Pep was going berserk with him giving the ball away. A couple of times in the first half, it felt like the pressure of the crowd and Sunderland were getting to him. The other change, we'll see Wilson Isidore replace Brian Brobbick. Like-for-like change for Sunderland up front. But, yeah, O'Reilly just seemed to be feeling the nerves a bit, which is strange. He's played in some big games. He's played in the Bernabeu. He's scored in the Bernabeu. But tonight, he struggled.
I think some players, John, let's not forget, he's still a young player, Nico O'Reilly. He's been fantastic for Man City. He might be just running on empty. He's played a lot of football lately, but he has made mistakes tonight. 1v1s. He's not looked really assured defensively, and I think his quality with his left foot, which is normally fantastic, he's let him down a little bit tonight.
Over on Talksport, Brentford 0, Spurs 0 here on Talksport 2, Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0, 58 minutes gone here at the stadium, and like no goals, but plenty of action in a really open game that's been thoroughly enjoyable, to the point where I've almost forgot how cold it is, Mickey. We're just about surviving up here now.
It's summer's day up here, this John. Beautiful. But the football in front of us, I think it's keeping us warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
And certainly the people in this stadium as well, who are getting behind their team, and they haven't let anybody down tonight so far. But look, let's not think about getting to the end of the game as a 0-0. Go and win it.
Yeah.
Go and beat Man City if you can.
Robin Roos, free kick on the halfway line to the left of the centre circle, away by Vardiol. His first touch, the Croatian, who, if remaining fit and selected, will play against England in the World Cup in the summer. All 104 World Cup games will be live on Talksport. We've still got another 300 commentaries in the second half of this season. Right now on Talksport, it's Brentford 0, Tottenham 0 tomorrow. 12:30 kick-off on Talksport. Exclusive commentary of Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. That's before Game Day Live. This is on Saturday. Adrian Duran taking you around the goals, around the grounds, as the goals go in the Premier League and the National League on Saturday. Vardiol will take the throw midway inside the City half. Haaland with a chest and a turn away from Mukelele into space, but his pass is so far behind Cherki. Both as frustrated with each other as can be. I think Haaland, that goes down as his mistake. Cherki was at full pace. He needed that to be played into his path rather than behind it.
Yeah, he'd done really well, Erling Haaland, as well, to shrug off his marker. But I think initially when he put his head down, Cherki was in that right side position, but he'd made an inside run and Haaland hadn't seen it. And it just made him look a little bit foolish in the end.
It's a flick on there, which Adingra will race onto. Mateus Nunes was just as quick. He's given it to Donnarumma to the right of the 6-yard area, plays it back across the byline to Mateus Nunes. The City style won't change, but with the Sunderland pressure from both players and supporters, City and Cherki on that occasion forced into an error. Sunderland have a throw, just over an hour. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
Do you know, John, I can't praise Sunderland enough when you think it's a botched 11 put together. Lots of first-team players away with AFCON and injuries, and they have been out there, and to a man, they've been outstanding so far. Look, we're 60 minutes into the game. There's a long way to go, but can they actually do the unthinkable and go and win this football match?
Nordic Mukwele looking at the angle to throw it right into the penalty area from a good 30 yards out, but he's tricked everyone and he's gone square and short into Granit Xhaka. He's a Swiss international once again. Left-footed ball looped down the left side of the penalty area. It came off Mateus Nunes, nearly fell to the substitute who's come on for Sunderland, Wilson Isidore. Manchester City rally and clear, and it's all the way through to Robin Roos. Isidore coming on, signed February of last year. Initially on loan from Zenit St. Petersburg. 4 Premier League goals this season. He scored 3 in his first 6. All of them here. Here's Jeremy Doku, a Manchester City substitute that whips the ball away from the feet. Gets the ball in left-footed. Dealt with by Mukwele. Manchester City throw 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side. The City left. There's a slight pause as a second ball is on the field. Return from the supporters. Vardiol will take the throw. Foden is the shorter option. It's a throw that's about 15 yards from the corner flag, down the touchline to Doku, who couldn't keep the ball in play, and as he turns, he's played it straight back out to play. The throw will be taken by Gertruda in the left, or down on the left, right corner of the pitch. In fact, Mukiele, who's got the long throw, will come across and take it. Once scored an own goal against Manchester City, Northern Mukiele. That's when he was with RB Leipzig. It was a 6-3 win for City in the Champions League, September of 2021. A ball there that Ruben Diaz will usher back to Donnarumma. Finds Vardiol, left back, midway inside his half of the field. Into Rodri, one touch before finding Ruben Diaz. A ball over the halfway line, not very well controlled by Ryan Cherky. He's quickly dispossessed by Alderete, and a ball out to Adingra. One-on-one with Mateus Nunes, coming in from the left touchline, looking to go on the outside. Does get the cross in, but it was nearer to Ruben Diaz than it was to Isidore, and it was easily dealt with by the Portuguese. And the pressure applied in the left-back position from Dennis Serkin, sliding in on Ryan Cherky before Manchester City can gain any momentum. 63 gone, 0-0.
Well, they win the battle, aren't they? Sunderland, they seem to be first to every challenge. They wanted a little bit more at the moment, and City are just hoping that somebody with the ability and the quality that they've got in their team is going to come up with that moment of magic for them.
Here's Phil Foden, lovely pirouette just in front of the halfway line, but Alderete is there to win it once again. Possession picked up by Enzo Lafitte. Ball out to Adingra on the touchline, a touch that bounced off his left shin and out for a throw. You just feel the longer the game gets on, Manchester City, we've already seen a few players get frustrated, whereas you just feel Sunderland's confidence is growing by every minute that's taking place.
Totally agree with you, John. Yeah, it is. Look, sometimes, if you're not playing wonderful football, there's other ways of winning a game. And I think those battling qualities you can see from these Sunderland players, you just hope that they've got another 25-30 minutes in them.
Here is Ryan Cherky coming in from the right touchline. Lovely ball across the 18-yard line, not controlled well by Bernardo Silva. It deflects away from him and it will clear by Mukiele out for a Manchester City throw. It's just not quite clicking for Manchester City. 8 successive wins coming into tonight's game in all competitions, 6 on the bounce in the Premier League. Vardiol has got forward here. A cross comes in. It's Vardiol's header. Brilliant save by Robin Roos. 6 yards out. Instinctive save from the young Dutchman. Vardiol appearing from nowhere, the left back. He felt he was fouled in the build-up to it. Still got his head to the ball. And Roos diving to his right to palm the ball away for a City corner.
Well, what a pass from Rodri. Seen it so many times in his City shirt. The run is timed to perfection from Gvardiol. There's contact along with Trey Hume. I think Trey Hume actually goes up to the referee and asks himself whether it was a foul on him. But Gvardiol gets on the end of it, and when he gets his header away, he's very close to Robin Ruffs. But Ruffs is there again just to palm it away from that Sunderland goal. Great chance for City.
Manchester City corner taken down below us. The left corner as we look. Manchester City's left side floated towards the edge of the 6-yard area. A number of players jumping from both sides. No one getting contact. Kept alive on the far side of the field. Foden into Rodri. Edge of the box right side. Lovely ball slipped in by Bernardo Silva to Foden by the byline. He'll come back out towards the far touchline. City happy to keep possession rather than just throw the ball into the area. But Bernardo Silva now does throw a long ball in from the right side, and maybe they were better, Mickey, to be patient and keep possession, because that cross was wasted. Remains 0-0.
Yeah, it's like it's rushed, isn't it? And you don't normally say that about Manchester City. It's like they're starting to panic a little bit now and thinking, well, we need to get that goal. As soon as we get that goal, we can settle down and start playing our flowing football. But at the minute, it's more of a hopeful ball into the area. Yes, Rodri's put a wonderful pass into Gvardiol. Maybe should score, but a great save again from Ruffs. But Sunderland has deserved the little bit of good fortune that they've had on the 2 occasions that City have got in behind them in this second half.
Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 over on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, 66 minutes gone. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Swipe left and right on the Talksport app to listen to both of these games at your leisure. This is one you really can't take your eyes or ears off. Still 0-0, but a game that's on a knife edge. Really open. Both sides having good chances in this second half. City have won the last 8 meetings between the two and beaten in the last 10. Last Sunderland win here was November 2013. Phil Bardsley scoring in a 1-0 win from the Manchester United player. Free kick taken quickly, far touchline. Sunderland fans, as you can hear, not happy with the referee's decision. Here's Foden, pocket of space just to the right of the centre circle, to this near side now where it's at the feet of Jeremy Doku, running towards that Sunderland defence, coming in, sliding the ball into Foden. The first touch took him behind him. It did fall for Bernardo Silva. First time shot was blocked by Alderete, and now Sunderland have it with Isidore taking the ball out to the left touchline, still just about inside his own half of the field. He will win a throw, 0-0 here on Talksport 2.
Well, the chances are starting to come now, thick and fast for City. Dennis Serkin getting himself in the way of I think it was a Foden or Bernardo Silva volley. Bernardo Silva wasn't at the edge of the area there. Looked like it was heading into the back of Sunderland's net. But as Sunderland have done all night, throwing bodies on the line, just need a little respite at the moment. I know Isidore's come on for Brian Brobby, who did very well when he was on the pitch, but Isidore got to bring something to the table.
It's almost like Brobby and Isidore are battling it out for that main starting berth up front. Brobby has started the last few, I think 4 in the last 5 he started, so every time Isidore comes on the field, needs to make a case for himself to be the starting striker for an in-form Sunderland team. Can they go 10 home games unbeaten at the start of their Premier League return? Only 2 other clubs in Premier League history promoted have then started with 9-game unbeaten home starts. Ipswich and Middlesbrough are the 2. Here's Jeremy Doku, slowly moving towards the penalty area. Left corner as Manchester City come forward. Rodri, one touch, looks up, floats a ball out to Ryan Cherki. Far side of the penalty area, laid back to Mateus Nunes. His cross from the edge of the box was dealt with and cleared, but it's back in sky blue possession, and Cherki's weaving his way into the area on the right side to the byline. His cross comes in, Granit Xhaka in front of Haaland to clear. Still 0-0.
It's just not quite fallen for Erling Haaland. There's a great wing play again from Ryan Cherki, who I've seen him play better than this, I have to say, but his quality is starting to improve now and getting better. He's looking for Haaland when he gets to that byline.
Mateus Nunes, left bandage round his left wrist. Bernardo Silva inside the area, right corner, goes back a couple of yards to Rodri. Then it will move into the centre of the field before it finds Jeremy Doku on this left-hand side. Checks back onto his right foot, but then onto his left foot as he gets into the penalty area. Back to his right again. Oh, it's a mazy run, and it's a shot then from Foden that was deflected over initially from Doku. Close control, great poise and balance, and a shot that struck Nordi Mukiele in the head. It then came to Foden, his shot deflected over. Mukiele has stayed down. Manchester City having chances, literally, Mickey Gray, bodies on the line.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're certainly going through the gears now. Great wing play from Jeremy Doku, isn't it? I mean, Nordi Mukiele, I think he's just there. You know, he doesn't know it's going to clatter off his face, but he makes himself big. Doku should score. He needs to just keep it along the ground and pass it into the net. But when it comes back out, who's there? His centre-half partner, Alderete, just to punch that one over the top of the crossbar. But the pressure is certainly on this back line of Sunderland right now.
20 minutes of normal time remaining. 0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Cherki's cross, he's floated to Vardiol. His header drops wide. It remains Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
And you just wonder if Regis Sabre's maybe having a look at his bench and maybe thinking, right, do I need the defender on? Do I need another holding midfield player to come onto the pitch to maybe just give us that little respite that we need in the game? Because Pep Guardiola, I think over the last 5 or 6 minutes, he'd be pleased with his team and the way they've attacked. But it's that one that just needs to fall to somebody perfect inside that 18-yard area.
Looks as though another Sunderland change is in the offing with Romain Mundle getting a pep talk on the edge of the technical area. A player that's missed most of this season due to injury. He's been returning as a substitute in the last month or so. Manchester City throw with Vardiol 10 yards inside his own half. In fact, the change will take place, and it's Simon Adingra who will come off, a scorer here in the 1-1 draw against Leeds a few days ago. Certainly shown his skills and dazzled again this evening. He's had to work hard defensively again as well, but Romain Mundle coming on. Formerly of Standard Liège, former Spurs Academy player, on in 5 of the last 6 games. Injured until the end of November, so working his way back to full fitness, and a fresh pair of legs coming on for Sunderland.
Yeah, it is. I thought it might have been a defender, but certainly with Romain Mundle coming onto the pitch, I think he will play in one of those forward positions, gets an opportunity to show his abilities. Hope he gets himself back to 100% fitness as quick as he possibly can, and nights like this are only going to help him. There's a moment just before that as well, John. I think it was Josko Gvardiol tried to shield the ball out of play, didn't look at the ball at all, had his elbow up in the air, didn't make contact. I just wonder whether the referee had a little sneaky look at it. Didn't make contact in the end, so that's probably why he got away with it.
It's currently Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0, and for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Sunderland to win at 11-2. The draw is 23-20, and for a Manchester City win, it's 23-20. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18 plus BGambleAware.org. Well, it's a Manchester City free kick, but as you can tell by the noise, Sunderland fans do not agree. Oh, it's been taken quickly. Jeremy Doku, 20 yards from the Sunderland goal, close to the left touchline, goes back to Rodri. A ball that's going to test Ruben Diaz there from Rodri. Just about got there before it was the Sunderland striker Wilson Isidore. Here's Rodri again. Sunderland back behind the ball. And it's Jarrod Gillett who is getting the anger of the Sunderland supporters after that free kick decision. Manchester City have kept possession from there. Here's Ryan Cherki, 20 yards out. He scooped the ball into the penalty area. Gvardiol forward again from that left back position. A headed clearance was from Trey Hume. This is Doku supported by Cherki, left corner of the penalty area. One touch stuff around the penalty area. Núñez touching it to the far side. Bernardo Silva circling his way, comes back to Mateus Núñez. He's got time to look up to pick out the cross. It's Gvardiol. Oh, it's come off the outside of the post. An instinctive effort. Brilliance from him. He's got his back to goal and he's just hooked it towards the net. Didn't know much about it. The goal never moves, I suppose, and it's hit the outside of the post. And Gvardiol, since coming on, has had two glorious opportunities for the visitors. Remains 0-0.
Yeah, Josko Gvardiol's had two very good chances in his second half. Probably City's best two chances in the second half. I think the Sunderland defender looks as if he's got a little bit of a kick here as well. But it looked like Robin Ruffs. Look, he thought it was going wide at one point and maybe just left it and pulled his arms away and then had to panic a little bit at the last seconds because that did glance off the outside of the post. Another let-off for Sunderland.
15 minutes of normal time to play here at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Gvardiol's got two Premier League goals this season, two in his last six. They were both at the Etihad, scored against Sunderland in the 3-0 win in early December. He got 6 goals last season. You can see why he's constantly getting forward. And that one was just... well, it would have been genius had it have gone in. Back to goal. Somehow managed to hook it off the outside of the post. And just going back to that change, Mickey, Romain Mundle coming on, you thought might be defender. That sums up the thought process of Regis Lebris. That isn't about holding on for the draw. That's about, can we go and win it?
No, absolutely. I think you get a feel for a game, don't you? They needed some fresh legs in those forward positions. The players have ran themselves into the ground. I think Romain Mundle coming on says to me that Regis Lebris wants to try and go and get all 3 points if he possibly can. And I'm sure when we speak to Pep Guardiola at the end of this game, he'll know that his side have been in a real test, whatever the outcome is.
Sunderland have beaten Manchester City in the Premier League 5 times. All of them have been 1-0 home wins. And as we go into the final stages of this game, you do feel as though it's only going to be one goal that wins this match. Man City have won their last 4 visits to the Stadium of Light, twice scoring 4 goals. That seems unlikely this evening. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Here's Rodri. The ball in towards Gvardiol on the edge of the box. He's forward again, the left back. Now he's going to have to work back as the ball fell loose, but he was there up against Wilson Isidore. And it will go back into the Manchester City half. Nathan Ake runs towards the ball. Sunderland players remain in their own half. Nobody closing down Ake as he turns and plays the ball low into the feet of Rodri. It's a short pass to the right side of the centre circle to Ruben Diaz. City working it via Ruben Neves. Mateus Núñez, rather. Another former Wolves player slipping off the tongue. Here is Ryan Cherki. Inside right position. Did look to the right where Bernardo Silva is hugging the right touchline, but he's decided to come infield to Nathan Ake. As the Sunderland supporters raise the volume to try and cheer their side home. to at least a point. Could it get better? Romain Munduk fouled as he tries to break forward over the halfway line. Will be a yellow card shown to Nathan Ake.
Yeah. A little bit of malice in that one from Nathan Ake. You could see the break from Sunderland coming in front of his eyes. Had to bring the Sunderland player down to ground there just to give his side a bit of a respite. But I think, look, we're getting to that point now. Last 12, 13 minutes of the game. City are going to have to throw the kitchen sink at Sunderland, who've defended for their lives in this game so far in the second half. Aside from Manchester, certainly on top over the last 5-6 minutes of the game. Big opportunities, hit the post, but still can't find that open door, John, can they, to put that ball in the back of the net? And chances will still come in this game.
77.5 minutes gone. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0 here on Talksport 2. On Talksport remains Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Here is Roderick, right of the penalty area, closed down. Sunderland players are buzzing everywhere. It feels like they've got 2 extra men, but trust me, it is 11 against 11. City, though, have worked that really well. Some one-touch football, and now Vardiol will come through the centre of the field and releases Doku, who's got acres of space on this left side as he takes the ball into the penalty area. But Gertrude stood firm, waited for Doku to arrive, and then just took the ball away from it. Sunderland's clearance comes back towards their own penalty area. Haaland goes down with Xhaka pulling his shirt. No free kick. Play continues inside the D with Cherki. Players everywhere. It's like a scene from Casualty in there at minute. And then another coming together. No free kick. Play continues. It's Bernardo Silva, only Haaland in the middle. He will have to come back to Mateus Nunes. We've got a thrilling finish on our hands here at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. Remains 0-0. Here's Phil Foden. He's got a crossing opportunity from the right, but he's ended up putting it on the roof of Roof's net. 0-0.
Well, there's boos around the stadium because there was 2 or 3 fouls, and I'm not saying they all should have went to a Sunderland player, but Romain Munduk, as he was trying to drift over to the left-hand side, there's contact with him. He goes to ground, and it should have been a foul, which lets City off and give them the opportunity to break forward yet again, and Phil Foden's cross let Sunderland off the hook.
You're listening to Sunderland versus Manchester City on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Here's Nathan Ake, close to his own penalty area as he moves infield, unchallenged once again. The Sunderland players back off towards the halfway line. Only Arsenal and Manchester City have conceded less goals than the newly promoted Sunderland. Here's Ryan Cherki. He's drifted out to that right touchline. Bernardo Silva was ahead of him but opted to come back to the centre of the field, and City will move it to the left. And there's that noise again from the Rowdy Mackems. Roderick, a substitute for Manchester City, created one opportunity for Vasco Vardiol that needed a really good save from Robin Roofs. Manchester City patiently building up again here. Midway inside the Sunderland half, Nathan Ake, who has got the key to that Sunderland door. Rodri so often was that man a couple of seasons ago before the injury. Doku to the byline, a cross that's pulled back. Bernardo Silva's header to the penalty spot. Granit Xhaka, coolness personified on the penalty spot. Players all around him, a cushioned header to the right of the goal as we look, and Robin Roofs comes to gather. 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant from Granit Xhaka yet again. Look, every player out there is probably thinking, I can just head this back to the goalkeeper. There's not many players would do it, and he's the man out there with the experience.
Here's Isidore, he's on the right of the penalty area. Ake challenging him, Donnarumma came sliding out. The touch was from Isidore that went wide and behind the goal. Still 0-0.
Yeah, Wilson, I think he has to do a little bit more, John, in this game. When he picks up that ball, he's got one thought, which is to get his head down and just run towards the back line of Manchester City, but they keep picking him off. Look, he finds himself inside the 18-yard box on this occasion, but he's never in control of the ball. Just got to compose himself a little bit more.
Over on Talksport after the Brentford Spurs game finishes, it is the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy and Jermaine Pennant tonight. Get your calls in ready for the boys. Feedback on this game if you were here, or if you've been watching or listening to Brentford versus Spurs. Currently 0-0 in the closing stages there. Closing stages here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Jeremy Doku with a ball slid infield to the Spaniard Rodri, a cross-field loop ball right onto the left boot of Ryan Cherky. Instant control. And bringing the ball into the penalty area, far right side. Then it's Rodri 25 yards out into Foden, back to goal, pinged into Jeremy Doku. Moves into the penalty area, this time the left corner. Has Vardiol as an option. Doku patient. The ball glued to his right boot, dummies to cross, then plays it short to Rodri on the edge of the area. He takes it into the box before feeding it back to Doku again. Doku teasing Trey Hume, right-footed. Foden needed quick, close control, but Lafille was there not once but twice to intercept. First from Foden, then from Vardiol, then a lovely back heel finds Romain Mundle up to the halfway line. Ball out to the far side where Mayenda can now come forward. Goes back to Xhaka. There was excitement around Sunderland, but they kept it short and sweet. Didn't risk losing the ball by flinging it forward on that occasion. 8 minutes of normal time remaining, 0-0.
Yeah, it was an opportunity. See, 2 or 3 Sunderland players had broke forward into the opposition's half, but City, to their credit, got everybody back and made it hard for them to break forward. You can just sense now there's going to be one big chance.
Rodri dispossessed, and it's flicked out by Isidore to this right side where it's Mayenda. A bright spark in the first half for Sunderland, certainly coming forward. Sunderland have got a player down here. And Granit Xhaka has played the ball out of play so that he can receive treatment. It's Trey Hume, who has been outstanding tonight for Sunderland in the closing stages. Maybe he's just decided to, Mickey, I need a breather here.
Yeah.
So does everyone else.
He has. He's been everywhere, hasn't he? Every blade of grass tonight, Trey Hume. But I think it's Rodri who just follows through a little bit and catches Trey Hume on the ankle. It's a 50-50 challenge. It's not a nasty challenge, but maybe he's fell a little wrong on his ankle, but I do hope he gets himself back to his feet. But what a performance. Some of them Sunderland players out there have just ran themselves into the ground. They've given absolutely everything in this busy, Christmas period.
I think Rodri is getting the word from Granit Xhaka that he wasn't happy with the foul that has led to Trey Hume's injury. Referee Jared Gillett is between them both. Rodri walking away from the situation. Trey Hume continues to receive treatment. More Premier League coverage on Saturday for you. 12:30 kickoff, Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. Live and exclusive on Talksport before the game day live with Adrian Durham. Goals as they go in from the Premier League and the National League. That's 2:30 on Saturday, the 3rd of July. Looks as though Tijani Reinders is about to appear for Manchester City. A late change for a player that has been a real regular in Pep Guardiola's side throughout this campaign.
Yeah, it's kind of last throw of the dice, isn't it, really, bringing Reinders on. It'll be interesting to see who City actually bring off. Is it going to be Bernardo Silva, Ryan Cherky? Most players have had very good games tonight, but where will Reinders actually play? Do they go for it, City, with the remaining minutes of this game, or are they quite comfortable? I'm sure they're not, with a 0-0 draw.
Bernardo Silva is the player that's coming off. Reinders is in good goal-scoring form. 3 in his last 5. He scored in back-to-back games. The 3-0 home win against West Ham, 2-1 at Forest. He scored 2 goals in his last 3 away games. And Sunderland about to make a change as well. Is that Chris Rigg getting prepared? One last swig of a bottle.
No, I think it's Trey Hume who's just came off for that knock. I think, John, you're right. So they're down to 10 men at the moment. So hope they hurry up and get him back on the pitch. They need him. Or maybe he saw a blade of grass that he'd not touched and wanted to come off.
Or he just wanted that bottle of water. Here is Reinders, first touch for him, midway inside his own half. Lovely skill to get away from Lefebvre, and then feeds it into Rodri, coming over the halfway line. 2 to his left, Vardiol and Doku. Still he comes through the centre, then he does play the ball into Vardiol. Doku approaching that penalty area where he's tricked himself there. I do apologise, but he tried to step over and tripped himself up, and that allowed Sunderland to come forward with Trey Hume, who's back on the field on this right side. Hertruda then tussles and barges Vardiol to the ground, then closes in Aki. Nearly caught him late, Aki making the clearance, but that's straight to Mukalele. Long ball. Isidore will chase. Aki under pressure, and he's lost it to Isidore. He's got his back to goal briefly. Tried to square it into Mayenda. Will come here for Lefebvre, edge of the box. Back out to Isidore, right of the area. Lefebvre just behind him. Takes one touch, one more. Then it's a low cross, came off the back of Ake. Trey Hume is there to back things up again. Doku doing his defensive duties, but again risking losing the ball. Does keep it, Lovely ball into Reinders. Big chance of a break there. Brilliant interception from Alderete, because Haaland would have been clean through had he not have done. But City can still break here with Reinders on the interception. Nearly fell for Haaland. It was flicked away by Mukulele. It went infield, and but for Alderete stepping in front of Haaland, the Norwegian would have been clean through for the second time in about 30 seconds on both occasions. Important blocks stopped Haaland breaking clear.
Two big opportunities for Erling Haaland in a 1v1 situation. He'd done really well on the first initial occasion. He kept himself in his own half, and in a foot race you'd think he would get the better of any Sunderland defender, but it didn't fall to him. And even on the second occasion, what a challenge from Omar Alderete. Absolutely outstanding.
87.5 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Is there a late piece of drama at the Stadium of Light? Here is Ryan Cherky coming infield from the right side to find Nathan Ake. Phil Foden drifting out to the right, finding space, receives it back from Cherky, who's on the far touchline. Roderick, room on the edge of the box, trying to hook the ball, scoop it towards Foden, making a run down the right of the area. Sunderland again defending well. Here's Cherky, he's got to the byline, it was cleared, it's Vardiol, he's taken a touch, and there's three Sunderland players that throw themselves at the ball. Maybe Vardiol should have took it first time. It was on his weaker right foot. Danger not over. Rodri to Foden, edge of the box. Shot closed down, barged down by Xhaka inside the D. Doku now on the Manchester City left. Low ball away by Xhaka. And that piece of defending summed up Sunderland's season. 4 players just flinging themselves in front of the goal to make sure they did not concede. No handball against Reinders. Sunderland just trying to grasp the ball for a few seconds to ease the pressure. City look to have won it back with Matheus Nunes. Another handball claim is waved away by Jared Gillett, the referee. Approaching the final 60 seconds of normal time in a game we don't want to end. Net score the winner, Mickey Gray.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, the 3 best chances have fallen to Gvardiol in a Man City shirt. And you're right, Sunderland players just throwing themselves to the ground to keep that ball out of their net.
Roderick, left of the D, to Haaland, is in space on the far post, heads it back into the 6-yard box. It won't fall for Vardiol. He gives it to Doku, to the left of the area. He's in the box, he's to the byline. A cross that he's blocked at the near post by the head of Trey Hume. Won back by Rodri, is it? No, he's out-muscled by Mayenda. We are going to have 4 additional minutes at the end of this game. It's been thrilling, and it's still 0-0.
Well, it's had a bit of everything, isn't it? The only thing that's missing from this game is a goal. Players defending for their lives. We saw great quality. Josko Gvardiol on 3 occasions should have had City, or certainly put them in front in the game. But listen to that crowd. They appreciate what these Sunderland players have put in tonight. The effort has been absolutely first class.
The board goes up. There is the confirmation of the 4. Sunderland have a free kick to the right of the field, midway inside their half. Not too many are leaving the Stadium of Lights on this New Year's Day game that is in the balance in injury time at 0-0 on Talksport 2. Vardiol, as Mickey said, the left back substitute, has had City's big opportunities. Doku into Reinders, miscontrolled, and when you do that, you know a Sunderland player is going to be steaming him, ready to take advantage. On that occasion, it was Trey Hume again. Here's Ryan Cherky. Haaland in the middle as Cherky has it on the right. City players gathering around the penalty area once again. It's with Reinders to the right of the box. There's an underlapping run from Matheus Nunes. That's ignored. It goes into Ruben Diaz, approaching the penalty area. Left-footed ball into Reinders. Now he gets the pass he wanted. Doku has gone across to that right side as well. Again, he's shown too much of it to Trey Hume. Sunderland win it back. It's brief respite because Foden has it for Manchester City. Now Ryan Cherky, 20 yards from the Sunderland goal. Everybody apart from 2 players are in front of it for both sets of players. Ruben Diaz out to the right. Matheus Nunes, a left-footed cross. Big header from Hume. Still inside the area, bobbling around. Another clearance from Hume. Ruben Diaz trying to flick the ball back towards his own goal. And Isidore Donnarumma's come a long way from goal, and he's got there just before Isidore and from a right back position, he's able to clear the ball forward. Alderete, free kick. Welcome to the listeners from Talksport. You join us in injury time at the end of what's been a thrilling game here at the Stadium of Lights, where it is Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0, but Mickey Graves alongside me. It has been a thrilling game, and neither side has been able to get a goal.
Absolutely loved this game. It's been incredible from the first whistle up until this present moment. And one person who will be very, very happy at the moment will be Mikel Arteta because of the scoreline, but both sides have had huge opportunities in the game to win this football match.
Manchester City's big chances have come from substitute Josko Gvardiol. Came on early in the second half. He's seen Robin Roos pull off a brilliant save. He hooked one off the outside of the post, and another chance a moment ago where 4 Sunderland players flung themselves in front of the goal and Gvardiol to block a right-footed shot that was heading their way, but it's certainly not been all Manchester City. Sunderland have had their chances as well in the first half. Brian Brobby with an effort that was well saved by Donnarumma. Mayenda with a shot right of the area, left-footed. That wasn't far off either. That needed Donnarumma to be in fine form, the Italian goalkeeper. We've got the last 60 seconds of the 4 minutes that were added on at the end of this game in front of us. Here's Doku for Manchester City, another substitute that came on during the second half, coming over the halfway line. A ball into Gvardiol, who's forward again from that left-back position. Laid off to Doku. He's going to get in the area. He's going to pull it back towards Foden, but it was a thumping clearance on the penalty spot from Granit Xhaka. Still 0-0.
Well, it's not often you say you enjoy 0-0 games of football, but this has just been thrilling from start to finish. It really has.
Here's Reinders, a substitute, has gone first time low at the near post. Easy save from Roos. Haaland throws his arms in the air. Felt that should have been squared in his direction, although he's had a very frustrating night. It remains Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0.
The frustration's just starting to boil over with these City players. They've asked so many questions of how they can break Sunderland down, but they've been so resilient in their defending, trying to keep that ball out of their goal, and they've done so far. It's not to say that they haven't had chances themselves in this game, because they certainly have, and they've had City on the back foot, but they are hanging on.
And there is the full-time whistle. A thrilling game. Ignore the scoreline, which has finished Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. It's a scoreline that doesn't tell the tale of a thrilling match. Really open, end-to-end, chances for both sides to win it. For Manchester City, Josko Gvardiol, who came on early in the second half, well, there's a bit of afters here. Gianluigi Donnarumma has ran from his own goal to the right as we look up over the halfway line. Seems to have clashed maybe with Granit Xhaka. He's certainly in there. Trey Hume was another player. Not sure what that was about. It was a fully committed, well-contested game. Frustration maybe from the Manchester City players that grew throughout the second half in particular, where things weren't quite going their way. But a run through the chances, in particular the second half, where Josko Gvardiol had 3 big chances. One was saved, one came off the post, one was blocked. Mayenda with a shot that was saved by Donnarumma. In the first half, Brobby with an effort saved at the near post. Haaland should have done better, but Roos made a save from him, and Trey Hume, who was superb, also with a header that was just over the bar. As things simmer on the pitch between the players, now the handshakes can start. Mickey Gray, what a start to the year we've had at the Stadium of Lights.
Well, I've got to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed that game from start to finish. There was chances for Sunderland. It looked like they were going to overhaul Man City. Then City grew back into the game late on, the last 10-15 minutes. They had chance after chance through Josko Gvardiol. It didn't quite fall to Erling Haaland at all in the game, apart from that one big opportunity he had in the game. And as I'm speaking, John, Donnarumma yet again is going across to the referee and the 2 officials. I think it was Luke O'Nien, a Sunderland substitute, who ran on the pitch at the end of the game to celebrate the draw against Man City, and Donnarumma didn't like that, but he's been ushered off the pitch at this moment now. Look, that's frustration, because they haven't come to the Stadium of Light. They've not got what they thought they deserved, which was all 3 points. But take nothing away from that performance from Sunderland tonight. They were absolutely outstanding to a man.
Full time here at the Stadium of Light. What a start to the new year. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. Mickey, let's focus on Sunderland. They remain unbeaten home this season. 10 games now. They've drawn with Arsenal. They beat Newcastle. They've drawn here with Manchester City. They've done it tonight, as you say, with a threadbare squad, 6 players at the African nations. Full credit to Regis Lebris. Full credit to the recruitment team. Full credit to these players.
Absolutely, they deserve all the credit that's going to come their way after a performance like that tonight. Look, botched up team, I called it. Players that have come into the starting 11. Dennis Serkin's been out, looked like he was going to leave the club. He's had 2 great performances back to back. Trey Hume, a player from last season, you know, we talk about all these new signings. He was incredible tonight from start to finish. Every blade of grass, what a performance, but the defending was brilliant and they had the chances through Brian Brobby in that first half. Trey Hume again had an opportunity himself, and full credit, Regis Lebris put a team out tonight and they didn't sit back. Yes, at times they were under pressure, of course they're playing against a side like Manchester City, but they took the game to City at certain times at the end of the first half. They come out in the second half and had 2 or 3 really good chances themselves. They are surprising everybody this season. Still unbeaten at home, and these players deserve a lot of credit for how they've approached the Premier League this season.
It's a draw that leaves them in 7th, now a point off Manchester United and Chelsea, 6th and 5th, 4 points off Liverpool. Before the game you said, and rightly, Sunderland's aim this season would be the 40-point mark. To have 29 at the halfway point is a fantastic return, but I suppose you, with your Sunderland hat on for a minute, these Sunderland fans, let's not get to 40 and stop. Let's ride the wave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think what you have to do now, you look at what games you've got in the second half of the season, John, and you kind of block them off into 2s and 3s and go, right, okay, what will we expect from these 3 games here? Is it 4 points? Is it 6 points? Is it 7 points? And then you kick on to the next 3 after that, and that's the way you tick off the games. But they've got momentum, they've got confidence, they've got a fortress in front of us here, and they've got a 12th man. Those supporters tonight have got them over the line and maybe got that point out of this game, and that is incredible.
7 clean sheets this season, 4 here, 1 against Manchester City as we've just seen. Not scoring goals. Do the board now back Regis Lebris in the January window and try and fix goal scoring issues, or is it better to just keep building that solid foundation, as you say, keep ticking off the points and keep building to the end of the season?
I think it's always healthy to bring in a fresh face or 2 in a January window just to keep everybody on their toes. And yeah, you're right. I think if maybe you look from the outside, you go, well, they're not scoring a lot of goals, Sunderland. But Isidore comes on the pitch tonight. You know, he's the one who's got the goals at the Stadium Light. He scored 4 goals here. Didn't really look like scoring tonight, I have to say. But there might be, just looking out there might be a little gem that we're not even talking about that might come through the door and just spark Sunderland into scoring those goals. But if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Look, there might be Patterson might be leaving. There's an interest in the goalkeeper, Sunderland's goalkeeper. Dennis Serkin, I just mentioned there before. Dan Neil, who did the job for Sunderland last season. Last season, Sunderland's captain. So if players leave, players can come through the door. And you just hope the players that do come in add to what they've got and make them even better.
You mentioned Mikel Arteta. He might be enjoying a nice Spanish red tonight. There is a long way to go, but he'll be smiling. 4 points now between Manchester City and Arsenal. So many games. I'm going to keep saying it because anything could happen. We know what Manchester City can do in the final half of the season. We know that Arsenal haven't quite got over the line before, but we saw that frustration at the end. 6 wins on the bounce before tonight. They didn't lose tonight, but the reaction from the players almost like they had done.
Well, I've got to say, I've not seen City give the ball away that much in a football match, and looked a little bit sloppy at times. And I don't know if that was down to too many games over the December period, or just maybe taking this game a little too easily, or just being pressed by Sunderland players that had more desire. From what I watched tonight, they won the fight. I know they didn't win the game, but for me, they won the fight in the game tonight. And they panicked at times. Bernardo Silva giving the ball away. Jasko Gvardiol, I think Nico O'Reilly, who got took off tonight as well. I've never really seen them look a little bit nervy tonight at times. Yes, Erling Haaland, he had 1 big chance in the first half, but other than that, he didn't create chances. Nobody created chances or enough chances for him. And when the chances have fallen to a left-back or so-called centre-half in Gvardiol, I think you've done a job on Man City.
Full time here on Talksport 2 at the Stadium of Light. There's still a buzz around this place as supporters head for the exit. Sunderland and Manchester City 0. Now it is time for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Mickey Gray, your man of the match from tonight's intriguing encounter between Manchester City and Sunderland.
Well, certainly a player in a red and white shirt. I thought Enzo Lafie was fantastic tonight. Thought the two centre-halves, Mukiele and Alderete, had excellent games. But I think we talked about him throughout the whole of the game. And Trey Hume, for me, was the standout player tonight. The effort that he's put into that game tonight and his performance, he deserves my player of the match.
He also deserves a massive ice bath. And I don't know what else. 3 masseurs to go home with him. You're right, he covered every blade of grass. He was superb. That was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.